Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to 101 Arsenal versus Tottenham player ratings. And yeah, I guess everybody's feeling in the same way right now. So let's try and lighten up the mood with a little bit of banter because we can't lighten it up with anything else. The team has let us down today, big time. So let's talk about it. But before we do, let's introduce our panel. Bertram, how you doing, man? I mean, yeah, literally a bad result today, but what's your thoughts, mate?
Well, it wasn't a bad day for me because I'm also a cricket fan and West Indies beat England, so I
Yes.
didn't feel it lightened up that mood watching the Tottenham game and the cricket simultaneously. So I'm not totally despondent, but I will say I also I thank Harry Kane because if he wasn't as poor finishing as he was, it would have been a worse score. I'm glad he played for us today. Even though he gave Mustafi a very hard time. So, but it's look, we're not going anywhere, and that's also part of it's not like we're going for top four, and it's really terrible that we lost because we're going for top four. So it's not your normal North London derby where you walked away just feeling like it's a wretched day and it's the worst thing since sliced bread. It's not a good feeling, but if you, as Ebony mentioned earlier in our discussion, if you avoid the newspapers and the sports channel, you'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, African Guna, what's your thoughts? And how have you been as well? How's South Africa, man?
Yeah, double whammy. The president just gave a speech and alcohol's banned again. Not that it really matters to me, but I'm sure a lot of the country is quite disappointed. So restrictions and a curfew's been set again here in South Africa. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make that much of an impact on my life as I'm working from home. And I think as a millennial, I'm kind of over it, to be honest. I'm despondent about the situation. And then, yeah, regarding what Bertrand said, I mean, again, I don't know why he says that Harry Kane had a bad game. I think overall, Tottenham had no creativity. So, I mean, Harry Kane was we didn't see him throughout the game and he didn't have many chances. And yeah, Martinez pulled a really good save on him. But, I mean, we saw what he did to Mustafi, making him look like an absolute clown. So,
and over again.
Yeah,
he didn't do anything to Mustafi that Mustafi didn't do to himself. He didn't do anything to
but I
Mustafi.
mean, he's a good player regardless. I mean, he created some good chances for Son and stuff. I think he had a decent game. So I give him credit where he's due. I think he was much more prominent than Aubameyang was for us. So, yeah, I mean, disappointed, but at the end of the day, I have a smile on my face because I don't really care anymore. This team has just sucked so much out of me that I can't give enough. I can't give my emotion anymore. I've given up on it. I already said the season was over. I think we're gonna lose our next match to Liverpool. So for me, top four was already out of it. Once we dropped points to Leicester and stuff, it was already done for me. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm not surprised.
Okay, so before I go to Ebony, I just want to say, what's good to the people in the chat room? What's going on? Cool K, good to see you, Cool K. He says, I can't wait for this. Carletto, how you doing, Carletto? Carletto says our season's over. Yeah, you're right. I said that in the player commentaries today, in the live player commentary. I said actually, not just in the commentary, but I did say in the game preview. If you read the game preview, I said the loser of this game not only will be able to fail making it into the Europa, but they're also going to be suffering the fate of not even having Europa money. Now, I don't know whether you guys, obviously Champions League is about 32 million. Europa League is only about 12 to 14 million. So it's a third of the money. It's scraps. But when you're in a position like Arsenal, where you're trying to bring players in the summer, you need scraps. And we ain't even going to get scraps. So it's desperate, guys. It's desperate. CJ, what's going on? CJ said, I told you did actually, CJ. You were one of the few people that said we were going to lose. And not only did you say we were going to lose, but you got the score right. You did say 2-1 to Spurs. So big shout out to you, CJ. Jeez, we got Merlin in the house right here. And who else? Nice one, 18. Yeah, we're down 18. Evening to you, Vincey, man. Evening to you. Big time respect, bro. Who else is in here? Everybody's there. And Ebony, how's your day going, and what's your feelings on the game?
My day went well. I mean, I just come off a 12-hour shift. Tried not to think about the game afterwards, but it still hurts. I just think, at the end of the day, with regards to the game, Mustafi's got to go, and I've been saying that for a while. And this is a big game for us. I mean, it's one of the biggest games of our season. You know, the North London derby, and we just didn't create anything. As I said last week, my 75-year-old mother could have done a better job. So, you know, I don't know, I don't know what we were playing at today. And I just think, you know, now if we don't make any European competition, I think we've got to start again, start afresh. And I'm going to take some of your words, Apollo, that some of these players have failed 4 managers: Wenger, Ljungberg, Emery, and now Arteta.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And one of them is Mustafi. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, so, but like I said, you know, if we don't make any European competition, which is looking inevitable, then it's a case of, look, let's just concentrate on the league, and whatever comes our way, FA Cup, League Cup, and what have you, let's just start again. It's not Arteta's fault. He can only do what he can.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, Arteta's really done some great things with this team. Unfortunately, you can only take this kind of team with the lack of discipline and the lack of will. You can only take them so far, and I think that he's done really well, considering that this team was a car crash before he came in. Tony, what's your thoughts on the game today, quickly, before we rush into the player ratings?
I mean, disappointment is an understatement. You know, I'm suffering trauma. I'm suffering deep trauma at this time. You know, it smacks of last season where we had things in our hands. It's down to us to be the makers of our own fortune or misfortune. And once again, we're letting it all slip through because of a very poor end of season. Last 5 games again, we're in that group. We're into those last 5 games where, if we do the right things and we get the things done correctly and we defend, you know, adequately, we could be having a conversation about where we're going to be. But we look like we're not going to be having any conversations because we've let it go through our fingers yet again.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, guys, it's I'm going to back up what Tony's saying, and I'm going to back up what I said about a month ago. My prediction was this team is going to get between 12 to 14 points throughout the end of the season. So far, we've had 3 wins and 1 draw, so we've got 10 points. So we're kind of around the ballpark that I thought we were going to be in. There's 3 games left, and I don't think we'll beat Liverpool. I think Liverpool will beat us. I think we'll win one of those games against the relegated teams, probably Watford. And then Aston Villa, you know, if we win that, then that would be a good result. And you know what? That would be 16 points. That would be more than what I thought this team could get. But pretty much the Leicester game was look, forget the Leicester game. I'm going to back up what Tony's saying here, right? Let's not blame anybody but the players right now, because the coaches, we can't blame Arteta. I mean, he hasn't been perfect, but he certainly hasn't been bang awful. He certainly hasn't been in a position where you look at him and think, what he's trying to do isn't working. Let's get rid of him and let's go and get a more proven coach. Yeah. Let's, you know, remember when I said to you guys, Carlo Ancelotti would have been our Van Gaal, or, you know, David Moyes was our Emery, and Ancelotti would have been our Van Gaal. If Ancelotti would have done this right now, they probably would have got rid of him in the summer if he couldn't get into Europe. So I don't think Arteta's doing anything wrong. But let's say the truth. Let's put it on the table where it is. This team has lost 15 points from winning positions. 15 points since Arteta's come in. That's it good enough to get you into 3rd position. So we can't complain about anything but ourselves, right? We can't talk about VAR. We can't talk about other teams. This is about us. And we are the ones that have screwed this up. We could, had we not put ourselves, and guys, we're not talking about winning in general. We're talking about we were in positions to win games and we've lost 15 points since Arteta has come in. That is down to the lack of discipline. That is down to lack of concentration. It's down to mistakes. And unfortunately, this is the result of them. So I completely agree with Tony. And what that does is it tells the front office, it tells the manager exactly what you need to do in the summer. Get some people in there that is going to do the job that you want them to do. Don't take failure and expect nothing but failure. Yeah, because that's exactly what you're getting. So let's get right into it, guys. Big shout out to everybody in the chat room. Let's talk about Martinez. Bertram, take this one first off. What was your thoughts on Martinez's performance? What would you give him marks out of 10? Guys in the chat room, let me see your numbers for Martinez right here.
So when Ebony was extolling the virtues of Martinez, I was like, really? I mean, he's been at the club for about 12 years. He hasn't done much. I mean, we haven't really seen him. He's been on loan a number of times. And then you watch him play over the last, since Leno's gotten hurt. And it's the first time I've thought that Leno is in trouble. Now, I know coaches, managers like to stick with their players who they have and who they trust and who have done well for them. But I do think that he's played phenomenally well. That save he made from Ben Davis, I thought, was worthy. Actually, it's almost like a similar shot to what Laka took. And yet he was able to touch it with his left hand. So I gave him a 9, actually. I didn't give him a 10 because he made a really bad pass. It almost cost a goal. But I gave him a 9 because I thought he was exceptional. And frankly, they had as much chance as any team has had against us since Arteta has been here. They had a lot of chances, and easy chances too, not simple ones. I mean, he saved a great one from Kane in the first half just by his length and his anticipation. So he's been exceptional since he's been playing, and today was no different. So I gave him a 9.
Excellent. So, guys, I think we've got some scores on the doors coming in from the chat room. Yes, we have. We've got 18 that's given him a 9 as well. Cricket Ball's given him a 9, and Cricket Ball, that's again cricket. You watch the game, you watch the West Indies play today, so big up to you to that. Man of the match, you've given him 7.5. Kuke's given him his man of the match as well at 9. Neomis, big shout out to you, Neomis. Can't wait to catch up with you on Wednesday this week. Neomis is saying, don't think there's anything you could do about the goals. I agree. Again, another good performance. Totally agree. You know why, Neomis? If it wasn't for him, it would probably be 4-1 to Spurs today. Vincey's given him a 9.5. La African Guna.
Yeah, just wanted to address a couple of things before I got into the player ratings. The first thing is in regards to what you were saying earlier. I think that I mentioned this previously to you, Apollo, and I think Tony backed me up on this. You were praising Arteta and how he would be able to coach some of these players, and I told you that it comes down to quality. We don't have the quality, and it doesn't matter who the coach is. No coach would ever be able to train the likes of Xhaka, Mustafi into world-class players, and that has been proven again. So I just wanted to reiterate that. Second point is, I think that we're quick to say that Arteta hasn't made mistakes. I think he did make mistakes today, which I will go into later, but I don't think that he had a perfect match. I think he had really bad match management today in terms of his substitutions. So I just wanted to put that out there. In regards to what Bertram was saying, I think 9 is quite high. I think I would give him an 8, definitely man of the match. And I think I agree with Bertram. Previously, when Martinez has had chances in the last 2 seasons, he's never looked this comfortable. He would make still some mistakes. He looks like a much more mature goalkeeper right now, and it's really, really good to see. So yeah, I'm really proud to see, like as Bertram said, I mean, Leno is definitely going to have some issues coming next season.
I told you this 2 weeks ago, though. I said that 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I said he's going to have trouble getting back because he's just a polished. Look, never feel ashamed or humble to say some guy's better than that. And as I said, I think they're very good shot stoppers. You saw that save he pushed onto the crossbar from Davis today. What a save. What if he doesn't get fingertips of that hits the underside of the crossbar and goes in. And this is the 3rd time he's made a save like that, where he's pushed it onto the crossbar or to the post. Another quality save. I might as well go because I'm talking about the man. Just absolutely outstanding. For me, he gets a 9 and he's my man of the match. The way he works the ball out of the backfield, just so much calm. He commands his area well. He couldn't do anything about the goals. Remember, on the corner he was planted. There's nothing he could do. We know who was at fault for the goal, and we'll come to that when his name comes up. But there's not much he could have done about that. What he done, though, to stop 3 goals from going in, he saved from Harry Kane Song, and Davis were all world class. You know, the save from Davis I talked about, he deflected it off the crossbar. He rushed off his line and smothered the ball at the feet of where Song was. And then the save from Harry Kane, where he rushes off his line, and that would have been that was actually just before they scored the winner, so we were still in the game. Quality goalkeeper, but it's not saying that, you know, Leno too is a great saver. He's a great shot stopper. It's just the playing out of the ball with the back. It's he's calm in possession, and it's just the no mistakes. Again, another game with not a single mistake from the goalkeeper. So these error-free games are racking up for me in terms of Martinez. So listen, call it out where it is. Ebony.
When your goalkeeper is the best player in the match, you know, the outfield players have a problem. And I've been singing as Bertram said, I've been singing his virtues for the past month. There is a reason why I said that he is a damn good goalkeeper. He has the potential to go on to be a great goalkeeper, and there's a reason why I said that he's better than Leno. I do agree that, you know, if it wasn't for him, it would have been probably more than 4-1. Every save that he made, world class, and I have to give him a 9 for it, because if it wasn't for him, we would have been in trouble, and it would have been embarrassing. I mean, 2-1's embarrassing enough, but for him to make those saves, and this is what I like about Martinez. You know, he's quick. He's for me, he's quicker than Leno. He's a better passer at the back than Leno. Everything he does for me is better than Leno. And I'll be getting a shirt with his name on the back. So 9.
Excellent. Tony, you got the conch, bro.
Okay, so I mean, I can't really add a great deal to what everyone else has already said in terms of his quality today, and we have seen a fair bit. And to be honest, I'm gonna say last season when he played in the League Cup, I thought he was culpable for some of our goals conceded. I thought he was, you know, indecisive in some of his decision making.
But you know what? You're right. But the season before that, when we did well, and I'm talking about when we got knocked out to Atletico in the semi-finals, he was outstanding in that run. Yeah, he was absolutely outstanding.
But you know, listen, in his recent games that he's come in as a result of Leno being out, he's been superb. I also want to give him credit because he's very good at being that last sweeper, playing that sweeper role. You know, he's very comfortable running out of the box and clearing the ball. And he doesn't do it in a panicky way. He does it with, you know, a sense of calculation about where am I going to put it? Do I put it out wide? Do I play in a long ball down a pitch? Or is there a player in a better position that I can move the ball to? So, you know, credit where credit is due. I've been very impressed with him of late. Today's performance, a 9, and also man of the match for me.
Excellent. I just want to pick up on what Cool K has said there. Cool K said we're not beating Wembley. We're not beating City at Wembley either. City, 4-0 against Liverpool, 5-0 against Newcastle, 5-0 against Brighton. Okay, so we move on.
Did they lose in that stretch too? Did they lose in that stretch?
They got beaten by Southampton.
Right?
Yeah, but that was 3 games ago. In their last 2 games, they've scored 10 goals and not let in any in their last 2 games against Newcastle.
But I'm sure our defense will stop them. I mean, they have a great defense. I'm sure it's not.
Yeah.
Why that white Ray and Nephews rum just licked the chat room right now.
David Luiz and Mustafi are going to be exceptional up there. They're the best 2 defenders in the Premier League. They'll stop.
Okay.
Don't worry about
it. Okay. He's taking a meds.
Well, look, at least someone's trying to have fun today, man. We got to smile. We got to try and smile somehow. Guys, let's move on to Mustafi. Guys in the chat room, throw your numbers up with Mustafi. Also, guys in the chat room, please hit that like button on this video right now. Let me actually go and see what you guys are doing and see if you're being generous to Uncle Apollo. Right now, we've got only 3 likes on this video. So guys, only 3 of you have hit the like button for this video. Can you please hit the like button ASAP? It helps me out because it makes other Arsenal fans get access to this. It goes as a recommended video among our fan base, and you'll be helping me out. It costs you absolutely nothing to do that. The only thing that costs you is when you make happy, great donations to the channel, of which I love you guys for. So nice speaking to you in the chat room today. Thanks for coming into the live game commentary, Randall. Randall, we just did the it was the goalkeeper Martinez. We just did player ratings for him. So if you throw up your ratings for him and Mustafi, that would be great. Bertram, Mustafi, the serial offender.
Well, I'm not going to be overly reactive to what transpired today. I'm actually trying to have some modicum of moderation and not be overly critical. Man, it's hard. Mustafi revert back to his old form. I said that in the 101 forum. He went back to the old Mustafi. His angles were poor. He just like he lost his head. I don't think he plays Kane. I think Kane is in his head, actually. I think Kane is in his head. Kane looks up and he runs by Kane. Like it's just crazy what happened. I gave him a 3 because I know he's trying. I actually had him as a 1, and then I said, no, that's not fair to him because defensively we all played poorly, so why am I just blaming Mustafi? But, I mean, because he made a really good stop on Son, right? Son had him 1-on-1, and he played him smart by jockeying, waiting, and then blocking him. But for the rest of the time with Kane, he doesn't funnel him to one side. He just rushes at him. And so I gave him a 3, and I'm very disappointed in Mustafi today because Arteta's been advocating for a contract extension for him. And today he just returned to his old ways. No, Arteta has been advocating quite a bit for a contract extension. Yeah, it's been very obvious. He's talking about how happy he's with him. But as African Guna said a number of times, it's hard to coach quality. You can do like Leicester did when they win the league and build up a sort of momentum, camaraderie, and everyone plays well with a few exceptional players like Kante and the Vardas of the world. And had to drink water and not to play above their capabilities. But it's hard to do that consistently season by season. I think Mustafi has now, the fans were getting a bit even ambivalent. They're not the same in terms of Mustafi. Didn't hear the same critique continuously. But after today's performance against a rival, he's probably back in the doghouse. So he got a 3 from me.
Yeah, and I have to always think about offering a guy a contract extension when, first of all, he's in his 30s. Secondly, you have Mari, you have Chambers, you have Saliba coming next year. I mean, where on earth are you going to play him? If you're playing a back 3, I get it. Then left back, right back is out of the equation. You need 3 centre backs. So I get that. But you've got 9 centre backs. So including Mafranos, who's coming back as well. So I don't get why they're offering this guy who is already past his sell-by date. He's practically going to be worthless in the market when he moves on. I would love to see what team this guy's going to play for when, Wolfsburg, Fenerbahce, one of them third-tier teams. No disrespect to any Fenerbahce fans, by the way, because a couple of them run a kebab shop in my local town, so I don't want to really say nothing. But at the same time, they're not in the upper echelon of level. And this is what makes me laugh, is like when the likes of them players leave like Bentner, and who's going to want them players, Who's going to want them players? So I just want to know why you're going to resign the guy back when we've got more than enough players to fill that role. Let's look at the numbers right now, guys. Let's go to the numbers. We've got Scricket Ball's the first one off the bat. Scricket Ball's given him a 4. That's very generous. Vincey's given him a 2. Cool K's given him a 0. That's our first 0 of the day. Also, Randall's given Martinez a 9. So that's a big 9 for Martinez. Mustafi, though, our survey says, yeah, for Mustafi. 18's given Mustafi a 2. Vincey's saying stop was worth 2 points. Jamal Mustafi. Any other figures? No, we've got no other figures coming in. La African Guna, what's your thoughts on Mustafi today?
All right, garbage number 1. I think Bertram alludes to it perfectly. I mean, as a defender, when you've been like roasted 5, 6 times by the same player, aka Harry Kane, Vardy, I mean, you're naturally gonna be scared when you play against them because you know they have you beat every single time you play against them. So naturally, Mustafi is gonna be scared shitless about Harry Kane. To be honest, I would too if I was Mustafi and I was that bad of a player. But yeah, I mean, I think Harry Kane made him look really stupid when he sat him down. That's the desperate Mustafi that came back out when we were losing the game. Things were not going our way. He loses him and he tries to tackle him in the penalty box. It could have been a penalty, to be honest. He would have given away a penalty right there. Classic
Poor position.
Mustafi.
Yeah,
And as Vince said, I mean, you have to give him 2 points for that stop on Son. That's the only contribution he made today. For me, garbage number 1 gets a 3.
So CJ has given him a 2. D has given him a 3. He said the back. Oh no, it's not a mark. It just says back 3. Sorry, I thought that was your mark for Mustafi. He's saying the back 3 were awful. I can't agree with that, and I'll tell you why when we get to Luis. None of them should have been at the club that has ambition. Yeah, well, this wasn't a club that had that much ambition lately, although they have given a club money to spend, so, one can argue about that. Arsenal stay losing and ain't going to change. Terrible owner. Again, it's nothing to do with the owner, what's going on now. The club has spent money. The club has been in the transfer market. The owners don't choose the players that come into the club. They're the ones that sign off the checks. It's the front office and the manager that has always had, and the scouting team, which we sacked all of them. Yeah, they're the ones that are going out there looking. So it runs a lot deeper than just the owners. So I wouldn't really sort of stick it on them. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I'll go back to another month ago when I said this team was only capable of getting 12 to 14 points. All of you that said 25 points and 26 and 27 out of 30 points, that's what the problem is. You guys over expectations is coming home to roost. And that's not a knock on you. That's just the realism right here. And hopefully, moving forward, your dreams and expectations will be more humble. Yeah. Now you've had a taste of that crow. We say humble pie in England. We say crow in America. I don't know what they say in Jamaica. They don't say nothing. They just say "you damn fool." But at the end of the day, this team is where it's at, and we need to understand it's a work in progress and it's a team in transition. And those are the 2 biggest issues in regards to us being back at the top. We just can't click your fingers and then Arsenal are back in the top 4. I said, I put myself out there. I'm going to live by it. I said last week, I believe Arteta can get us into the top 4, but it's going to really take a lot from the owners to back him and help him in the summer. Where are we?
So Paolo, before you go on, I want to say this, which is last Wednesday, we met this Wednesday. I mentioned the arrogance of the Arsenal fans and the fact that people go to Tottenham Stadium, what do we call it nowadays, and run them off the pitch. And I thought that was ludicrous, especially in the Derby game. And it came home to roost. If you read all the comments before the game, it was almost as if Tottenham weren't going to play and we're just going to run them off the pitch, which is ridiculous. They have good players. They were in the Champions League final last year. I know they didn't have a shot against Bournemouth, but this is Arsenal. And our defense came home to roost today.
You're totally 100% right, bro. You're totally 100% right. CJ saying front office. Yeah, it is. It is. Why do you think they call Arteta the head coach? Yeah, everything is coming from the States. I said that 20 years ago. Bertram and Tony know the score because both of them watch American sports like I do. Everything that you see happening in Europe comes from America when it's down to, remember when we didn't have names on the players' backs? Remember when we didn't have tunnel cams and all this stuff, and we didn't have interviews with the managers after the game? None of that happened, It all came from American sports. And all the money
we're trying to bring you into the 21st century, Apollo. We're trying to bring you into the current century. That's the goal.
And the reason why is because it's fan friendly. The fans want to see this. It's an entertainment. It isn't just a sport. And that's the reason why all this gloss has come in. That's the reason why Sky put a 5.1 billion deal in there, because it's TV. It's run by the fans. That's what pushes the revenue. And that's why video evidence has come in, because there's too much money in the game, and that's where we are. So yeah, front office, bro, and head coach. So Ebony, let's talk about Mustafi.
You're familiar with the word butters, aren't you?
Well, I'm familiar with serial offender. Yeah, and that's when the police car pulls over and sees the same guy doing the same robbery on the same street
over and over and over again
in the same sneakers, and it's just like, bro, I've arrested you 6 times in the last 5 years. You're a serial offender.
Yeah, 0. That's what he gets. 0. The man can't defend for shit. Okay, Harry Kane. I'm just gonna go over what's been said. Harry Kane looked like, I don't know, Messi against Mustafi. The guy, every time he gets into a position, it's either he can't defend or he is about to give away a penalty, and that's exactly what happened today. He just looks small. He's a cheap ass, and no, let me take that back. It cost £35 million. And there's a reason why he was gotten rid of when he was in Spain, because he's shit. Okay, when we were buying him, somebody, I think it was Gary Neville that said, "Are you sure?" Somebody anyway said, "Are you sure you want him? Because you know, are you really sure?" And we're seeing it now. We're seeing the player that he is. And and anybody who wants to talk about, oh yeah, he's a World Cup winner. He doesn't play like a World Cup winner. He plays like he's in school and he's just learning the game for the first time in his life. He can't defend. He needs to go. I've been saying this for a long time now. He cannot defend. He needs to go. Just get him out. It's a 0.
I think giving Mustafi a new contract is like
it's ludicrous. The guy cannot defend. Why are we offering him a contract? Why are we offering him an extension?
Yeah, I agree.
And we need defenders. And I can't wait for Saliba to start playing. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree, guys. Before I go on to my vote and Tony's vote, I just want to ask you for a question. When you was in the live match commentary, did you see my comment about Arteta and Mustafi about the hypnosis?
Yes.
No.
That's a good one. It was a good one.
The hypnosis factor's ward off, man. You need to get the medallion again and then start swinging it in that brother's face.
Yeah, but that's a waste of time. It's a waste. Even Paul McKenna couldn't do anything.
Oh,
that's how bad he is.
God. Listen, man, CJ saying facts, Ebony, facts. All right, listen,
Remember, my 75-year-old mum, yeah? Okay.
Listen, I gave Mustafi a 2, and I gave him Mustafi. He woofed on so many. The thing about this game that struck me strange was normally he makes one bad mistake that causes a goal. Yeah. When I saw him make another mistake, I was like, bro, what are you doing? And then he done a third one. And I was like, are you serious? And then he got bailed out by Martinelli. He got bailed out by David Luiz twice. David Luiz couldn't bail out Klasnach, but it was just like, what is going on? He got woofed 3 or 4 times, and it was mostly bad positioning. It was, look, he woofed on so many positions 3 or 4 times, totally exposed today, just a complete mess. And Mustafi was atrocious, and his passing was inaccurate as well. He took too many touches on the ball before releasing it. And you have to release that pass quickly if you're going to trap the midfield out. He just didn't do anything right today. He was a total waste of time. I should have given him a 1. Yeah, I give him a 2. I'm being generous. I'm in a good mood today. Tony.
Okay, here comes the voice of reason. I have to disagree with Ebony because I can't see how you can give Mustafi 0 because I'm going to struggle to see what you're going to mark Kolasinac.
Minus 0.
I didn't know we could give minus numbers.
You can do whatever you want, bro.
Yeah, I didn't know we could give minus numbers because as bad as Mustafi is, there's another fella on the other side of that centre back threesome who was atrocious. Yeah, listen. I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. The first half, actually no. Let me start at the beginning. I think within 2 minutes of the game started, yeah, I looked at Mustafi and I went, here we go. He's trying to play that hero ball again. Do you remember that one, Apollo?
Yeah.
Trying to play the hero ball. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to hit 30-yard passes? You can't do this.
Yeah.
And I've said this in previous weeks.
Yeah.
His game is not about that. So it baffles me why he's trying these hero balls. Because it's not his game. He must not be trying to pass the ball anything more than 10 yards. And even that, he's going to screw up anyway. And then the other thing was last week, I said, you asked the question, who's the key player that we have to look out for? And I said, Son. And within 5 minutes, Son turned him up and Martinelli came to the rescue. Martinez, sorry, came to the rescue. Yeah? This geezer...
Yeah.
I've said it before. His highest mark possibly could be a 5.
Really?
It's just not good enough to get anything above a 5. Now,
a 5 is average.
Yeah. He's no better than that. He cannot get higher than that. But let me break a couple of things down to you. You know me and my stats. Mustafi made the most tackles out of the back 3. Mustafi also had a shot on target with an overhead kick.
Jokes.
Yeah, but the thing is, we've known that for a while.
Just for that, I'm giving him 2.
Yeah, so that's the same mark as me.
I have to give myself some leeway for the other people who were worse than him.
Yeah, that's Tony. That's exactly how I thought when I gave him a 2. I said, if I give this brother 2, then I can get down to the get down. Yeah, when it comes to class match, because I have to leave myself some leeway. Jeez, hey, Vincey, you did say in the forum class match was playing the back. Yeah, you know what? And this is what pissed me off about Arteta. I've only got 2 problems with Arteta's tactics today. The lack of pressing. When a team like Spurs is low on confidence, you press the shit out of them. You put them on the back foot and scare them. Yeah, we just wasn't in their face today. That was wrong from Arteta. And the second thing is, bro, what have you got against Rob Holding? What have you got against Rob Holding, which is why you have to keep putting that clown Klasnach in a position that he's not comfortable with? I guess the reason for a coach is because he prefers a natural left-footed player. Okay, so I get that. But we're talking about Rob Holding, a guy who I considered was our best centre-back 2 years ago, and we've been waiting patiently for a year for him to recover the confidence from his injury. He shows you that in 3 games, and what do? You ain't started him I just don't get it. So, Arteta, I love you like cooked food, oxtail, jerk chicken, rice and peas, okra, super malt, dasheen, toto bread, bulla cake, kalaloo. I love you like everything. But you screwed up today, bro, and I'm going to paint that on you, you know, that you got to wear that.
You need to change your diet. You need to change your diet, Apollo.
So, who have we got? So, guys, so that's Mustafi. Guys, let's hold up a grade for David Luiz. Bertram, you go with David Luiz.
I think we're missing the biggest difference in the game today, though. Arteta got outmanaged. We talk about everything on the players and we blame other players. He got outmanaged. Here's your got outmanaged. Because their forward line was rotating all game. They were picking up balls in the channels. We weren't covering up those channels. I thought I said we were impressing. We were impressing because when we pressed, they played the ball over the top, like Liverpool did against City. Liverpool got beat 4 by City, but they got a lot of chances because when City pressed and cut the field off, they played the ball over the top and it was wide open. They could have scored in the first minute when Kane got away from David Luiz.
Yeah.
And David Luiz wasn't good today. I know you love him, Apollo. I gave him a 4 and I was being generous. David Luiz, the first ball he tried to shield almost cost a goal. First part of the game just started, tried to shield the ball. He wasn't good today. And here's the thing too, we blame Mustafi all the time. When Mustafi is going to the player, David Luiz got to take the man on the inside. He doesn't mark anyone. He runs in a space.
Actually,
So
I
then
just
it leaves
pointed
David.
out-
He runs in a space. He doesn't mark anyone. He just runs in a space.
Actually, I just pointed out that he bailed out Mustafi twice today on 2 balls. He could have bailed out Klasnach if he was in a different position. If you look, he was in the motion of running. He was actually running to the left, and Klasnach plays the ball to the right. So Luis, while running to his left, sees where where Klasnach was placed the ball, and then he tries to get on his off foot, which is
No. Klasnach tried to play the ball with his right foot. He has no right foot.
Yeah?
He has no
he
right
doesn't.
foot. That was the problem. That's why it happened.
He does, but he was running.
Can't play the ball with your wooden
the ball
foot.
was played to the other side, so he's not at fault for the goal. Yeah, that goal was all on Klasnach. But I'm saying to you, had he had better balance, he probably could have bailed him out. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But,
I think that's all Kolasinac. I'll say this: Arteta got outmanaged today. So in the game, you realize that Kolasinac is having a stinker, Mustafi a stinker. The back three is not working. We're too wide. You got to go to the back four, close down the middle, bring Saka in, pull Kolasinac out, put Tierney at the wing back. What's his name? Soko. Tierney was non-existent today because he got marked out of the game. So Sissoko was the best defensive midfielder in football. I don't mean defensive midfielder meaning a CM, meaning he's the best defensive midfielder in football in terms of how he covers ground, how he tackles. Play Tierney out of the game. So you have to change it up. Put Saka on there because we know Aubameyang has no skill. Put Saka, Tierney, and Aubameyang on the same wing. You clog the middle up. You create a better way of managing their pressure. And then you have a better chance of playing. But we didn't do any of that. We had no strategy. He just put the team on the field, go play like Wenger did, and nothing. But anyway, I gave David Luiz a 4.
And to go on top of that, because we didn't have Eddie Nketiah, I think what had happened after 70 minutes, Lacazette looked absolutely shot. He didn't even look like he had legs to run with anymore.
He wasn't the only one, by the way. He wasn't the only one.
I agree, but remember, Spurs played on Thursday night. We rested for 5 days, and I just think that because we didn't have that option, and he could have done something. He could have actually put Aubameyang in the middle. Yes, you would lose your hold-up play, but if you'd have had Reece Nelson on the sides, you weren't going to lose anything on the flanks. And I just felt because he kept Lacazette on and he was tired, I thought that everything just capitulated.
Lacazette was not the change. I know Aubameyang was a goal scorer, but we talk about the performance. Aubameyang doesn't get changed because he scores goals, but otherwise he's non-existent in the game. Yeah, and we can talk about him when we get to him, but he's non-existent. He doesn't deserve to be on the field like Laka did today.
So let's get some scores for Luis. So we've got 18 with 7 for Luis. Yes, Crooked Ball, that's what I'm saying. He was burnt out after 70 minutes. Vincey gives Luis a 6. So we've got a 7 and a 6. Cool K, 6. Had to cover for Klasnach and Mustafi all day. Literally, that's how I saw it, bro. Randall has given him a 4. Vincey's given him a 5 for Luis, recovered after a poor start. CJ's given him a 3. Let's have a look. Aaron's saying a 3-1 Bournemouth. Interesting. Cricket Ball's given him a 4.5. La African Guna, what was your votes for David Luiz? And before you go, I just want to say, guys, in the chat, there's 17 of you watching at the moment, and I've only got 8 likes on the video. So that means 9 of you are not pressing that damn like button. Get it done, guys. It don't cost nothing. La African Guna.
I've got the conch. Yeah. For me, personally, I want to say, I know, Polo, you like Holding, but come on, let's be real. Even if he played, it's not going to make that much of a difference in our defense. We would still make the same mistakes, and it would still be a choice.
I think it would. I've said to you for weeks that Klasnach's 2 problems is he gets twisted on the overlap, and players running in on behind of him, he can't track him. He just doesn't track players.
Apollo, it's not good. Apollo, talk about what he don't turn left or turn right. It's not good. As they say in Jamaica,
he's not good. He's not good at positioning. He's not good at tracking. He's just not good. He's just not a good centre back.
Exactly.
Whereas with Holding understands how to defend in space. He understands about where to position his ball. So I think it will change greatly. The only reason why I think he's in there is because Arteta wants a left-footed player playing on that left side. That's the only reason. But it's costing him.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I still don't think it would make that much of a difference. I still think our team is just way too weak that, an improvement in holding a young kid who's barely even played a full season at Arsenal would make a massive difference. That's just my opinion. I do think that he would make a small difference, but not that much of a difference. Then in regards to David Luiz, I know, Apollo, you like him a lot, but to be honest, for me, he brings nothing to the team. I mean, he's too slow, way too slow, man. He holds onto the ball forever, man, to make those long ball passes. He needs to be much, much quicker. Our tempo is turtle speed. It's way too slow. And then our opposition gets behind the ball, and then we have no creativity. So we're stuck in this backward, sideways mode, and he's partly to blame. For me, I agree with Bertram. I give him a 4. In terms of the goal, I think he could have done better. If he had the pace, I think he could have recovered, even though it's obviously not his fault. And then something I have to question is, why didn't he go for the slide tackle? I mean, he does it when he's not.
Yeah, that was mentioned by the commentator, and they said it would have given him a straight red. He couldn't have done that.
Not if he got the ball. I think he could have. He should have tried it.
No, not David Luiz. Not David Luiz, guys. No tackle, David. You did what you did. We end up with 11 players. Let's keep it that way.
Last man behind the ball, he would have got a red card. He'd have been straight off.
Yeah, no tackle.
Crucifying him right now.
Fair enough. I just feel for some reason, there's some part of me that says maybe he should have. It might have been. I wouldn't have been too upset if he did go for it. That's what I'm saying. If he even if he got a red and stuff, I wouldn't have really said much because it wouldn't have been his fault. It would have been Kolasinac's fault. But yeah, for me, overall 4 doesn't really bring much to the team. Yeah.
Yeah, CJ, I just want to talk to you about something. I spoke to a Man City fan yesterday, and the Man City fan said that David Villa is talking to Arteta at the moment about coming to Arsenal next season. He's 33 years old. He's still got a pass in him, and he still runs into the box late to get on the end of goals. He's still doing
bring Cazorla also. So bring Cazorla also. Let's just bring all the old folks back in to come.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. You might not get
Cazorla scoring goals and assists like crazy in Spain, so bring him over another season.
Yeah. You might not get much rondo out of them, but they're definitely doing a lot better than this lot. Ebony, before I go to you, I'm going to have my grade. I went for 6 with David Luiz. Again, covered Mustafi and Kolasinac. The reason why he didn't make any errors today that cost the team. He didn't do much else wrong. My only gripe was that he didn't have an impact on the offensive side of the game. I like him as a passer, and as La African Guna said, he just couldn't find a pass today, and that's where for me. He didn't do too well today on the offensive side, but he was the only player that didn't really cost us today in defense. And the 2 tackles that he made to save Mustafi, I thought was very, very good. But at the same time, yes, he's a limited player. This is what we got, guys. I'm afraid. I agree. Since the injury, since the coming back from the lockdown, where they were talking about his groin, he seems to have lost a step. He just doesn't look quick anymore. And that's a concern for me. And it should be a concern for Arteta. But I will say, look, as I think it's, is it Tony? Yeah, Tony and Bertram actually have both said, don't judge a player on what he's done in the past, judge him on the game that he's played. And today I give him a 6. But Ebony, you got the conch.
Right, who we doing? Kolasinac?
David Luiz.
Yeah.
Well, he was the
Wow.
best. He was the best one out of the 3, so I'll give him a 6. He saved Mustafi's backside about 3 or 4 times. Could have done more. But I actually prefer David Luiz as a defensive midfielder than a defender. But I don't know why Arteta isn't playing Rob Holding. I don't know why he's not playing Saliba unless Saliba's gone back to Saint Etienne. I know we're thin on the ground with defenders, but right now, the fact that David Luiz has had an extension as well, it does worry me because he's either or. He's one of these players that's great one day, and then the next game he's absolutely horrendous. He has an error in him, but today, the goals weren't his fault. He saved Mustafi's backside 3 or 4 times. I give him a 5. I'll give him a 5.
That's a fair shot. And actually, what really bothers me about the front office is that there's too many heads on this dragon. Yeah. This reminds me of Hedora, and anyone who's a Godzilla fan knows who Hedora is. And it just seems like between between Edu, between Vinay and Raul Sali, the three of them can't make up their mind whether William Saliba is going back or staying or doing whatever. It just seems a complete mess at the moment.
And when I think about it, you know, it's like we bought him for a reason. All right, we then loan him back to St Etienne, and now everybody's getting excited. Oh, he's coming, and we've seen him play. But let's see how he fares in the Premier League. And now it's like, well, is he coming? Because we're desperate.
My understanding is that he wants to play in the final that they have, but if he plays, it triggers a $2 million payment to them.
Yeah.
So why would you let him play unless they're going to change the terms of the agreement, allow him to play at $2 million? Why would Arsenal allow him to play? It makes no sense. They're getting upset about something which they can fix.
Yeah. But there is. Oh, look at this, guys! Bournemouth have beaten Leicester City 4-1. 4-1. Bournemouth has absolutely taken them to the sword. Jeez. Oh, what is going on?
They did draw with Tottenham. So
Tony. David Luiz, Tony.
Oh, David Luiz. He's just. I've never liked the guy. I have never liked the guy at Arsenal. Even although we say he saved his ass, he saved that person's ass, he's the best distributor of a ball on the field, I just don't like the guy. I just think he's past his sell-by date. I don't want to see him in my team anymore. I definitely don't want to see him there next season. And I know we don't have better players, but you know what? I'm willing to risk the whole thing on Medley, Callum Chambers, Pablo Mari, William Saliba, and one other. If we can afford one other, because all the rest can go, including Holding, unfortunately, I would sell them. I would get rid of them all, and let's see what we can get. But going back to Luis' performance today, I tend to agree with African Guna that I think he could have done something. I think if he doesn't feel like he can make a slide tackle, he can use his body in such a way as to disrupt the run. But he gets nowhere. He actually runs away from Son. He runs away and says, I'll tell you what, go have a shot and I'll try and get it on the line. That's crazy.
No. I think no. What happened was Martinez came. Yeah. So if Martinez is going to be the one-on-one, you need to go and cover the goal. No, it's the right play to make because you both go there. They make it easier for him.
Before Son engages with Martinez, there's a good 9 yards for him.
But he's going away from him, though. He's going away from him.
Follow him. Follow your man.
Follow him.
Follow your man, right? That's principle 101 in defending.
No,
follow
you don't follow. Not as last man.
Guys,
not in the last man. Not the last man. No.
Let's get something straight here. That goal was not on. There was no blame for the goal at all. That was all Klasnach, man. It was all. Speaking of Klasnach, guys in the chat room, can you throw your numbers up for Sayed Klasnach?
So I'm just gonna throw in my mark for David Luiz. It's a 3.
I thought you already did. Sorry, go on.
No, I didn't. It's a 3.
Okay, good. A 3. Okay, 3.
Only marginally better than Mustafi.
Guys, Klasnach, let's hear your numbers for Klasnach. Bertram, let's hear some.
So before we go to Klasnach, I want to say one thing. I'm glad we signed David Luiz. I think he's a package deal. I think there's something coming with David Luiz. I don't think it's David Luiz. We gave him David Luiz so we can get someone else, and I anticipate that happening. So it's good. Trust me, that agent controls quite a bit of players. And there's one special player I hope he's going to bring to us. So we'll see what happens.
I hope you're right, Bertram. I really do.
I think it's a package deal.
So do I.
I didn't give Kolasinac a grade because he wasn't playing. So I couldn't give him a grade.
So that's a 0.
He was playing.
He wasn't playing. He wasn't playing.
Hey, a no grade is a 0. So
No, okay. He was playing, but he wasn't playing for us. Right? He wasn't playing for us.
That's better.
He was on the field, but he wasn't playing for us. It's incomplete. Can't give him a grade. Until he start playing for us, then I can give him a grade. I can't give him a grade. I'm sorry. Just it wouldn't be fair to him, and it wouldn't be fair to our fans to give him a grade and not give him a grade. Incomplete.
Man.
Still waiting for him to turn up for us because somehow he's playing for Spurs today. He had a bet on the game. He had a bet.
He's just all of his deficiencies got exposed. So we're going with Arsenal wins matters. I'll just call him wins matters. It's given him nearly a 5. I don't know whether. Oh, that. I don't know what that's for. Is that for? Yeah, just explain to me what. Oh no, it isn't for Louise. Oh, okay, yeah, I just realised he's given Louise a 2 here. Okay, wow. And then he's called him a Chelsea reject. All together now. Oh, Chelsea reject. So so guys, CJ has given him a 0. Joseph has given him a 1. And Neomis is in a good mood today. He's given Klasnach a 3. 18's given Klasnach a 0. Vincey, you can't rate him as well. Man's unrateable, a 0 there. What have we got here? We've got Cool K has given him a 1, comedy of errors. And Randall, not even gonna rate him Bloodfire. So that's another one that's taken a 0. African Guna.
Before you go to African Guna, one thing actually, which is it's not his fault though. It's Arteta's fault. He doesn't play well in a back 3. When he plays in Tierney's position, he's a better player. He goes on the wing, doesn't cross as well as he should, but he's not a defender.
Doesn't matter, Bertram. That's a simple pass that a 5-year-old should be.
Don't forget about the pass. He's just not a defender. The pass is just it's Brata. Let's say Jamaica Brata. The pass doesn't matter.
I'm not accepting that.
Pass doesn't matter. Pass is not his game.
£80,000 a week, brother.
Yeah, man. Come on.
No. It's not £80,000 a week. It's about 40. No, it's not 80. No, it's not 80. It's about 40 because we got him on the free. You got to take out the positional transfer cost. That's how I calculate these things. It's not 80.
Okay.
He was free.
40 grand.
Well, that's another story.
They're paying a ball like that.
All right. Yeah, Garbage number 2 for me. That's his new name, Garbage number 2. Someone needs to call the UFC and ask them if they're missing an athlete because I think he's on the loose, he's on the run, and he somehow ended up at Arsenal. He's in the wrong sport, man. And I don't know. I can't believe Bertram is saying that. Listen, like 5-6-year-olds are taught like that is the simplest pass that you can make in football. There's no excuse for that pass. I mean, you're like 2 meters away from a player and you make a pass like that. I mean, Apollo and I discussed this. He was just a man in the system. And today he was accountable. He actually made himself accountable, but for the wrong reason. He was accountable for Spurs and not for Arsenal. I mean, 0. Blood clot 0, man. No comments.
Yeah, for me, I gave him
no, this guy was...
You asked the man to be a defender, not a defender. Why are you asking someone to do something they can't do? He can't defend. He has no way to defend it. He's been with us. He cannot defend. He has not defended.
He cannot do anything.
When he was in Germany, he was a player of the year team in Germany, which is...
how? How?
I have no idea.
But see, guys, I said before, when we were naming the team, my team was very different. I did say to you guys as well, Saka wouldn't play if Pepe plays, and that's exactly what happened. And I also said that Tierney should play at the left centre-back position, and then you should maybe put Saka on the left in the midfield. That didn't happen today. And unfortunately, if my team sheet did go out, then he wouldn't have got so horribly exposed. And Tierney definitely wouldn't have played a pass like that. So again, Arteta, you have to wear that one. Wear it with pride. Anyway, listen, for me...
Did you see that, Bertram?
He makes $50,000 a year. Yes, because
hold your head in shame.
You got a present value of the money. I didn't put in a transfer fee, which we didn't pay. I did put in the transfer.
Come on now. What don't talk, don't lie. It says Kolasinac, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th highest earner in the club, 100 grand a week.
Yeah, Tony, but it's no different from Ramsey making $400,000 a week. When you go on a free transfer, you get double the money.
Doesn't matter. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Yeah, Tony. Tony, unfortunately, Arsenal calculate their contracts over the term of the year, and that's why it works out. Yeah, they don't look at contracts in the way of it. Yeah, it is ridiculous. Vinci, it is ridiculous. So for me, I think the problem here was a decision to pass backwards when Xhaka was open for a pass on the inside to evade the Spurs press, and Kolasinac panicked. Yeah, and this is the reason why I'm saying, what's the problem with Rob Holding? What's the problem with putting Tierney back there at left back? If you've got somebody like him who sees that easy pass in front of him to Xhaka, and he panics because we're being pressed, and then he puts the ball where he did.
Apollo, come on, Apollo. He didn't panic. It was his right. It didn't. I'm sorry. It was on a little bit pressure.
Bro, that's your opinion. I'm telling you, he panicked. Yeah, I saw the open pass. I saw the open pass to Xhaka, which he had to play the ball forward.
Bertram, you're becoming a contrarian. Really, you really need.
But Tony, think about this. Tony, think about this. Tony, you have a pass back to your centre half, and you're facing him. How is that panic?
He panicked, man. He panicked.
This is right foot.
And guys,
he doesn't have a right foot.
He undid all the good work that he did against Leicester. And for me, I don't even know whether you start this guy in the next game.
No, can't. He has to be done.
So is African Goon, is it your go? Did you go?
Yeah.
Okay, 0. So Ebony, let me hear you throw it up for Kolasinac.
Okay, I'm gonna be nice. 0. There's a reason. There's a reason why. It's a 0, Tony. It's a 0. Okay. There's a reason why look. There's a reason why I don't put him in my defense, because he cannot defend for shit. All right. He's better as a left back. That's what he can do. All he can do is he can't even cross the road, let alone cross the ball. So, but all he can do is just run forward and make that little pass.
Get in there, Ebony. You tell them.
But you just gave Mustafi 0. So how are you going to mark him the same?
Both of them can get 0 together.
Because they're rubber. They were awful today, Tony.
Kolasinac was worse.
No, I'd say those bad.
I think we need to give Spurs players knives. We need to give Spurs. Then he will be able to defend.
Fling the 0.
He can't defend anyway. Even if it wasn't against Tottenham, he cannot defend. And that's why anytime I'm choosing my team, he's not in my defense. I don't even have him even as left back. Listen,
Ebony, thank you, Ebony. Thank you, Ebony. You know, last night when we were naming the team sheet, I got outvoted. I put Tierney there, and they all said to me, "No, Kolasinac." I was like, "All right, voted by committee."
No. We're picking the team Arteta is going to pick.
Exactly. I want you to pick the team that you want to pick.
No.
When I'm choosing the team.
Guys, we're here for your opinion, not Arteta's opinion. You're on the panel.
Then Xhaka would never make the team.
What the manager wants, what I want.
Anybody else?
Tony, your go. You're up, Tony.
0. 0.
0 for real, man. All right, guys, listen. Let's move on to Bellerin. Guys in the chat, let's hear your number for Hector Bellerin. Another decent game from the guy who came off what was his best game in a very long time. Still pushing up forward. It's nice, isn't it, to see Hector pushing up into the final third and actually supporting the strikers. It really is a nice change to see him doing that. Bertram, you got the conch. Guys in the chat, let me hear your numbers for Bellerin.
This is a tough one because when you lose the way we did, the score doesn't reflect the run of the game. I did give Bellerin a 6.5. I was thinking about 7, but I gave him 6.5. I thought the great pass that Xhaka gave him, which he miscontrolled, could have been one-on-one, but to keep close to scoring, he miscontrolled. By the way, I thought that was a through pass, Apollo. When he beat the man in front of him and made that pass, just for you to write that down, don't forget, because you talked about the Saka one before. He miscontrolled that ball. It was a dangerous position. But apart from that, he played really well, and his speed is coming back, actually. He ran past Ben Davies once in the game. We made a cross, and he actually had a good game. Yeah, offensively, he had a good game. Defensively, I think he left Mustafi out there on an island sometimes. Wasn't back as much as Tierney supported Kolasinac. And maybe that you don't realize how much isolated Mustafi was. And Mustafi is a poor one-on-one defender. And it shows up, his frailties show up when he gets into a situation like he did with Kane today. But I thought he had a good game. I gave him a 6.5.
Excellent. Before we go to La African Guna, let's see what the guys in the chat are saying about Bellerin. CJ's given him a 4. Vincey's given him a 6. Neomis is giving him a 6 as well. Bellerin's getting a lot of respect right now, guys. 18's given him a 6. Joseph has given him a 6. Kuke 6, sharp in possession, driving forwards at speed and energy. That's the Bellerin that we want to see. That's the Bellerin we've been begging to see, and it looks like he's finally back. And listen, as long as he's doing that, then I'm no longer calling for Maitland-Niles. Not that Maitland-Niles wants to play there anyway, yeah. But it's nice to see that he's doing what we want him to do. Cricket Ball's giving him a 6. He has Cedric on his back, so he's sharpening up. Yeah, bro, I totally agree. Isn't it wonderful what competition does into a team? Randall is giving him a 6 as well. And yes, I agree, Randall. He's coming back into form. And I agree with Bertrand. We were talking about his speed. It does look like he's starting to pop as far as the speed. Remember, he was the only one that was up to Theo Walcott's speed when he originally was young. So it's nice to see him get that burst back. La African Guna, you got the conch.
Yeah, firstly, in regards to what Bertrand said about Xhaka's pass, yes, noted, but it was. I'm just gonna say that it was a lucky pass. I'm not gonna give him credit for it. It wasn't. I can't give him credit for it. I think it was a lucky pass, and yeah, Bellerin miscontrolled it. I think regardless of if he did control it, he doesn't have the talent and the skill to score in that position, so he would have still crossed it, and it would have ended up being a corner. I do see the praise for him, but I still want to see more from him. He is improving, but still not enough for me. I still want more from him. I think that in terms of his speed, for me, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I still don't think he's nearly, close to the speed that he used to be. I remember that one-on-one he had with Pedro when he raced back and he caught up to Pedro and made that slide tackle. That's the speed that I want to see Bellerin at, and I haven't seen that for a really, really long time. But yeah, he seems to be shaping up for me. Again, another thing is, he doesn't take on players. I mean, he tried to nutmeg one guy at one point, and it was just like, are you serious, man? So there's still a lot of areas in his game that he needs to improve. But for me, he's on an up, and it's a 6. Another thing I wanted to mention is that when Cedric Suarez came on in his position, I feel much more comfortable with him on. He seems much more mature. When he has the ball, he has better control of the ball. He just seems like a better football player in general. He just doesn't have the speed that Bellerin has. But Cedric is definitely giving him a run for his money. So 6.
Yeah, I agree with you on that statement. And that is the difference between Kieran Tierney and Bellerin in that position. Tierney is so good and so comfortable with the ball at his feet because he has natural footballing skills. Bellerin doesn't have that. Bellerin is like your Theo Walcott type of defender. He's got space, he's got pace, he's got speed. And if you take that away from his game, then he doesn't really have that much left. And I think because his form has been hurting right now because his speed and through the injuries hasn't really been there. The lack of ability and the lack of will to get forward is what's really costing him. I gave him a 6 today. I thought he did well in tight spaces. I thought he had great energy, great strength, holding players off, and he's getting back to his best. So look, let the games begin, as they say, and let them battle for that spot. Don't hold anybody down, because if you go to any top team as well, it's pure interchange, it's pure battling for good spots. And I think too many years at Arsenal, we've had players who, not mentioning any names, are just number one on the team sheet as soon as game day comes. And, with no
name names.
cost.
That's what we're here for. Name
Yeah.
names.
Well, yeah, I mean,
this is a safe place, Apollo.
and we could talk about the likes of Xhaka, and we can talk about why Torreira has come back into fitness and he's not even an option. So look, as Bertram and Tony has alluded to, the coach likes him, likes what he can do, but it's not really bringing us that much when it comes down to it. So I've given him a 6 anyway. Ebony, Bellerin.
Yeah, it's nice to see Bellerin get some speed back again. He's not quite at that level that he can be yet, but I thought he held himself well today. I'm going to give him a 6 as well. I thought he did. I thought he was all right today, but like I said, he needs to get back to the level that we know that he is capable of. but maybe he's still worried about that injury. But yeah, 6.
Yeah, excellent. Tony.
Okay, so here we go. Right. Arteta and Bellerin and Pepe and Aubameyang and Tierney. So for me, this is where this whole thing is falling over badly for Arteta. He doesn't seem to be able to work systems of left and right wing. When we were at our peak this season, we had Martinelli playing with
Saka.
Thank you. Yeah, doing absolute amazing interplay between each other, creating opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Hence why Saka has the huge number of assists that he had, because he was interplaying with the guy in front of him.
And Martinelli had 10 goals.
Martinelli has the goals he has because he was interplaying with the guy directly behind him. Bellerin and Pepe are on 2 different wavelengths. And I understand what everybody said about Bellerin getting back to where he needs to be. However, the problem, and it was clear today, is Pepe and him are on 2 different wavelengths.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah? So this is Arteta's job. Yeah? I have to devise some strategies that allow these 2 guys on the right-hand side to play together and interplay so they create one-on-ones, 2-on-1s, etc. against a left back. And I have to do the same on the other side. So as good as Tierney is, yeah, because we're all going to give Tierney great marks, but what is he doing with Aubameyang? Nada. Which is why Aubameyang is getting no assists, but he's getting his goals, yeah? But, so, I'm going to give Bellerin a 5. But I have to put the caveat in that he's nowhere near what he could be if he learned to play with Pepe.
Yeah.
Because somehow, between the 2 of them, they don't pass to one another and they don't seem to be able to work out strategies of interplay whereby they can involve Ceballos or, I often look at Mustafi and think, what's his outball? He's looking always at Bellerin, hugging the touchline. And then Bellerin is looking and going, where's Ceballos and Xhaka? Not where's my guy, Pepe, the guy that I should be looking for at every opportunity.
Every time. Yeah, every time.
Yeah? Because that's what we expect to see, is that symbiosis relationship between the 2. And that's missing right now. So I'm done. 5 for Bellerin, but Arteta, you got work, brother, because Bellerin and Pepe, and we're obviously going to mark Pepe down today, but he's got no interplay there.
Yeah. So, guys, this is going to be really controversial, and I'm actually going to go first because of it. So we're moving on to Kieran Tierney. So, guys in the chat, please throw up your numbers for Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney today, I gave him a 4. And I gave him a 4 because he just didn't look like the same player. And remember, it bothered me a little because I call him Mr. Consistency now in place of Monreal, who was always getting 7s. Well, Tierney Tierney has always had 7s, literally 6s and 7s. Kieran Tierney's always had. Today I give him a 4. He just didn't look like he was playing today. He didn't run into space. He wasn't really an option down the left. He put one wonderful cross in, but outside of that, he just didn't look like he was on the same island as everybody else. His marking of Toby Alderweireld for the goal was poor. He let the guy get in front of him and get into space. He lost his marker, and that's what caused the winning goal. Sorry, guys, and sorry, Tierney fans. I have to call it as I see it, so I gave him a 4. Bertram, I'll go to you, and then I'll go to the guys in the chat.
So I'm not as harsh. I said this before. I think what we miss in the game is Jose's strategy. He realized Tierney's a danger he is. he had Sissoko basically play out there a lot of the game. And Sissoko, as he does with almost everyone, he's like what the right back from Man U, he shuts people down. If you actually shut a player down, he's going to shut him down. Wan-Bissaka does the same thing whenever plays against him. There are two players in the PL who I see who shut people down when they're marking them, and he shut Tierney down today. Wasn't about Tierney not having the desire, wasn't about him not running. He got no room to maneuver. He doesn't have Sissoko's speed, and Sissoko's butt is him. And so therefore, people don't realize in the game within the game, Jose had his team set up. He overstacked the middle because we were playing two in the middle, basically. When you're playing wide and two people wide, then your middle is sort of wide open up, and he played right through the middle today. And I don't think it's Tierney's fault. I gave him a 5, but it's not about him. It's more about how Sissoko played him. Because Aurier is not a good defender. And see, the goal that we scored was him making a miscontrol that went to Laka. It's more about Sissoko, who has been doing this, who have watched all season do this, and he just shuts people down. His physical attributes are not comparable to anyone in the league, frankly. The way he covers the field and how physical he is and his speed. He was supposed to come to us way back when, but as a winger, not as a midfielder. He got transferred to midfield, I'm telling you. He's exceptional in terms of defensively. He can't score a goal to save his life. And that was the difference in Tierney's play today.
So, guys, in the chat, we've got a 4. Again, I gave him a 4. 18's given him a 4. Joseph's given him a 5. Vincey's given him a 5. Cricket Ball's given him a 5. A lot of average scores here. James, nice to see you, James. A bit late to the show, James. James has given him a 5. Randall's given him a 4. Turney got locked off today. I agree. I totally agree, bro. And it's I always say it's easy for me because I'm doing a match day commentary, so I say what I see. Yeah, and what I saw today was not a lot from him. So it's it stands to reason that I have to give results based on what most of the people who read my match day commentaries and are a part of it, they pretty much know what I'm going to give anyway, because you can see how I'm talking about the players as it goes along. So we've got Cool K 4.5, correct Apollo, marking Toby for the goal. Yeah, allowing him to get away from him and beat him to the ball. Yeah, it is what it is, but it's a mistake. And Arteta's going to cover that as they watch film this week. La African Guna.
Yeah, I think we're being quite harsh on him. I'm giving him a 6. I still think he's missed a consistency. I still don't think that he did anything wrong. I think
he gave a goal away by losing his marker.
Hold on.
So if we chastise Glasner for a bad pass and giving a goal away, we got.
It's Arteta's fault. The guy was knackered in the 75th minute. He couldn't even run past the halfway line. He needed to be subbed off. So what do you expect? A tired player who's run his race in the last 5 games, of course he's not going to be able to compete in that box at a corner. I mean, I don't really blame him, to be honest. And even if it is him to blame, I mean, what is that? 1 mistake in 7-8 matches? I mean, so for me, yeah, I still give him a 6. I still think he had as good of a game as Bellerin did on the other side. And I think that he got double teamed, so it's not really his fault. And I think Aubameyang didn't give him any help whatsoever. Aubameyang was terrible today. Terrible. Worse. I mean, we're talking about Bellerin not being able to interplay with Pepe. There was no interplay with Tierney and Aubameyang. Tierney was all on his own. Oba kept drifting into the middle, and Tierney was on his own. So I'm giving him a 6. I'm not taking anything below that.
So Tony, here's where I'm a contrarian, Tony. Here's a real contrarian. I don't agree with Apollo about the goal. I don't think anyone's been for the goal. The goal was about height. If you look at the ball coming over that Mustafi missed, the ball came over, it's about height. And if you're not tall enough, you won't get there. The ball was about height, and it's a great cross. Look at the cross again. The tallest person there had the ball in the goal. They could do nothing about it. Tierney could mark him till tomorrow. As he had it down.
I was just about to make a comment on why is, again, square pegs and round holes. If you're going to make orange juice, use oranges, not lemon. Lemon makes you lemonade. Yeah, you can't mix the two. It doesn't work. And why are we consistently putting smaller players on to mark taller players? It just doesn't work. If you've got David Luiz is 6'2", Toby is 6'2", that's the man who you want marking, not Kieran Tierney.
So blame David Luiz. He's a captain of the defense.
We've seen this happen time and time again. Well, it does on the zonal marking. Everybody picks a player. And it's just, we used to do this previously before with Monreal. I just don't know why it still happens. So
just a quick one, if I may, on that, Apollo. If you actually see, right, so Alderweireld scored that goal. The next corner, you have Joe Willock marking the goal scorer who just scored like 2 minutes ago. Are you serious?
That is true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But the difference with that is Joe Willock knew that Tierney made the mistake and lost his marker. And what did Willock do? He pushed the man around. He locked him down, bro. He locked him down. And actually, I mentioned that in the game commentary. I mentioned exactly that. I said, Tierney loses his man, which causes a goal. And I said, what does Willock do when he comes on? He locked down Toby. It's exactly. And Arteta, when he went on, told him specifically to get that done. And he does it. Yeah. Ebony.
He didn't have a great. Tierney didn't have a great game today. But you know, I mean, yes, he has speed. He's great on the left. But today, Sissoko had him in his pocket. So I'm going to give him a 5.
Okay, yeah, a lot of people are giving him 4s and 5s. African Gooner gave him a 6, which is good. Someone else gave him a 6 as well. I can't remember who it was. I'm just going through the numbers here. I can't remember who it was. Tony, talk to me about Kieran Tierney.
So I kind of have already alluded to it. You know, he's out on an island without any help at all from Aubameyang. This guy, you know, how many times can you go? And obviously, as Bertram said, Mourinho did his homework. He totally took him out of the game. And funnily enough, I'm looking at highlights of Kieran Tierney on my phone, and every time he gets the ball, he's got nowhere to go. Aubameyang offers 0 assistance to that guy. So I'm going to give him a 5. But this is Arteta's doing. Arteta needed today to instigate some changes, because quite clearly down the flanks was not working.
Yeah.
He needed to move Laka out of where he was, bring Saka in, a person who actually can do something. Yeah. And he needed to change the dynamic in the right-hand side, which wasn't as bad as the left-hand side. I'll give, I must say.
Okay, so guys, we're now moving on to Xhaka. I'm not going to give my grade yet. Actually, no, why not? I'll give my grade for Xhaka. I gave him a 5, and Xhaka's original grade was a 3. I gave him an extra 2 points because while he fluffed up and lost the ball that led to Lacazette's goal, he actually won it back. And not just winning it back, he shields Zaria in order to make him not run back to Lacazette to make the tackle. So he didn't get a 3 for me. He ended up with a 5. He was mega sloppy in the first half. Now, I don't know whether you guys, you give these little kids, the little children in nursery, a bead counter where you got the different colors. And when the kid gets one, you slide the bead across and he gets a point. Then he gets something else right, and you slide the bead across and the kid gets a point. I use those beads when I'm looking at those guys play, because the amount of balls that he gives away to the other team is shocking. Every game, I know the exact number because I'm there counting it. I go and check it on football stats page. And today, again, 5 balls given to white shirts. Mustafi, by the way, 4 balls. That's 9 passes given away in the midfield. Now, this is Spurs. You lost 2-1. If this was Man City or Liverpool, with the kind of midfield and the quick passing and quick movement they've got, we probably would have lost by 4 or 5 goals. Teams will punish you. This is the reason why people complain we're not in the Champions League. If we win the Champions League, those teams would expose us. We're not ready for the Champions League. We cannot play at that level, guys, because we've still got these guys who are constantly giving away possession and are not good with the ball at their feet. We're not ready. And until we change that midfield setup, then we're not going to change our prospects. I said it once, and I've said it 100 times. I'll say it again. As long as Xhaka is in the midfield, it would be impossible for us to get into the top 4 because he doesn't have what it needs to get there. Right now, we're patching this thing together with a string and a couple of donuts. Yeah, just to get it to work. I'm surprised actually Arteta has been as able to get him to play at this level. So for me, guys, the limited communication he has with his back three is non-existent. his mobility is always a problem when going against counter-attacks. But as I said, I give him 2 extra points because he was crucial to Lacazette's opening goal with the tackle and the smart blocking. But for me, just a complete liability in the midfield. And you know what? I keep saying I'm waiting for him to give me that killer pass. He actually did that today when he played the ball down the flank on the right side to Bellerin. It was a beautiful pass, had accuracy, had pace, put the ball in front of him where he could run onto it. Why don't we see him doing that? That's what he's supposed to be known for. How many months have I waited for him to play that pass?
It was lucky.
How many months and games have I waited for him to play that pass? So guys in the chat, throw your numbers up for Xhaka. Bertram, you got the conch.
So if you have to really justify an average score, that's not a good thing. If you have to justify. I'm one in this forum who gives Xhaka breaks. Xhaka was a 4 today. I find it impossible. So totally say I'm a contrarian. Don't necessarily, they bring some credence to that, but here's the problem. When you say Kolasinac panicked today, when he had 2 outlets pass, one to David Luiz and one to his goalkeeper, that's just bad pass, not panicking. Xhaka doesn't have the ability to get out of trouble, and he makes so many bad passes with no pressure. I find it, I watched the game today, my nephew was here to tell him to close his ears because I was expressing myself, because I was just very frustrated with a player making bad pass with no pressure. It's one thing to have pressure, and when you're under pressure, you know how that works, right? You panic, you do something. He makes so many bad passes. Yeah, he made a true ball today. I don't give him any credit for the ball. Nobody gets credit except Laka for that goal. Nobody. When you score worldies, you don't get credit. When somebody scores a worldie, I'm not giving you credit because, yeah, you blocked but the ball bounced out of place. Aria made a bad control. You blocked it. It go to Laka. Laka scored a worldie. You get no credit. At the end of the day, though, I do think it's time. His time is up. We should just move on. As a midfielder, you either got to have some athletic ability, some skill, or both. And yes, you're decent. You're decent for your country. But what we need is not Xhaka. I gave him a 4, and he's a generous grade, I think.
Yeah, I gave him a very generous grade. African Gunner, before I go to you, let's look and see what our guys are saying. Vincey's given him a 4. 18 has given him a 3. Yeah, 5 passes. 5 passes, bro. Yeah, and look, I count every one of them. Go to the matchday commentary, and you'll hear me say, Xhaka just made a bad pass. And then I'll say, Xhaka's made his second bad pass to a white shirt. Then I'll say, and Xhaka has made his 3rd bad pass. And I go all the way up to whatever he's doing.
What about the 2 out of bounds? There were 2 out of bounds, actually, which you probably missed.
It's just disgraceful that we're talking. I mean, Bertram, what does your manager think when he's seeing that on the sideline?
Well, I think he's no. What did your sub think at the sideline? Not your manager. The subs who play in that position, like Torreira, that's saying you're not good enough to start over this player. That's where you kill confidence, actually.
Yeah, I agree. Cricket Ball's given him a 4. Randall has given him a 3. And look, guys, we're at the limit of what we can do. The limitations are glaring. And they've been there for a long time. So let's not pretend that this isn't a problem that Wenger and Emery had. They had the same problem. The difference is he was a monster tackling in for the ball. He had 9 red cards when we bought him, the most in Europe. And when he came to Arsenal, he got 3 red cards in the first in his first 6 months. And Arsene Wenger told him to do one thing. He said, do not go down onto the floor when you're tackling. And that stopped the problem. But what it did is it made him a toothless shark because he was known to be a hard man, a strong tackler. And when he didn't go in like that anymore, it's almost like, you know, he was like, remember that Beano comic, Gums, the shark? They used to call that shark Gums because he didn't have any teeth, yeah? You can't buy Top Man in the Sea when you got no teeth, yeah? So that he just reminds me of a toothless shark. He's got no bite in his game whatsoever, and that's what Wenger had to do with him because he didn't have the discipline to tackle properly in the first place. He's just a loose cannon. And here we are, 4 or 5 years down the line, and he's nothing's changed. African Guna.
Garbage number 3. Shit. This is the last garbage player for me, the last one and the worst one. I give him a 2. Listen, I hate this guy. I'm sorry, I hate this guy. I hate him because, and it's not partly his fault. It's the manager's fault for keep playing him. That a fan is forced to keep seeing him. That you end up hating him because there's nothing as a fan. You have no power in getting him out of the team, right? And that's why he got booed. It's because fans were happy to see him come off the team because we don't want him there because he does nothing to the team. It's nothing to do that we were disrespecting him or whatever. The whole situation was that he was finally getting pulled out of the team when everyone could see that he brings nothing to the team. And not only does it give away passes, I mean, did you see Saka when Saka got that yellow card? Xhaka made an atrocious foul. That foul was a yellow card in itself. I don't know how he didn't get a yellow carded. And Saka just took the ball and smashed it on the ground because I'm sure he was frustrated that he was defended properly and this clown just came in and tackled the guy, giving away a free kick, a silly free kick. I'm sorry, I don't understand how these Twitter guys suck him off all the time. I really don't. I cannot see. Seriously, I cannot see what they see in him.
And you know what? I can't even fight you on this because normally David is representing him in the chat room. David's not here today.
He's trolling. He has to be trolling. 40 million for this guy. I said it yesterday. Bruno Fernandes costed almost the same amount for Man United. Look how many goals he's provided. Look how many assists. Look at his creativity. Look at his all-round game. He's like 5 times the player that Xhaka is. He needs to go. I hate him too. Get him out.
Hey, and you get those clowns that say, "Oh, but if he went to Liverpool, he'd be a..." No, if he went to Liverpool and gave away 5 passes a game, Klopp would bench him.
Any of the relegation teams' midfield, I take their midfielders over him. They would provide more, in my opinion.
Yeah. You give the ball away that many times in the game. There's no way Jurgen Klopp is picking you. It ain't gonna happen.
You know, Mustafi, Xhaka, and Gabriel is 100 million pounds, right?
Yeah, it's a joke.
And so is Firmino, Mane, and Salah.
Yeah.
So
they're less. Because Firmino was about 28, I think. So they're less.
92 million. They come up to 92 million.
Okay.
Ebony, let's talk about your boy.
Whose boy? Yeah, sucking him off.
No one.
All these fangirls and boys out there. Oh, Xhaka, he's a great passer. Is he? Listen, there's a reason why I don't want him in my team. Every single time he plays, he gives how many passes away? All he can do. The only thing he's got to his game, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. All he's got to his game is that killer 60-yard pass. That is it. He can't pass backwards, sideways, backwards.
Yeah, he ain't got no 60-yard.
How many times?
I'm gonna save you that one. He ain't got no 60-yard pass. Everybody thinks he has. All of his fans think he has, but we've been waiting to see it. Bertram, Tony, how many weeks, months?
Yeah, he probably did that pass back in 1985 or something.
He made a pass to Saka. I said it about 3 weeks ago. He made a 2-pass to Saka. And it was offside.
The thing is, every time he plays, he makes mistakes after mistake. How many times can you make a mistake? How many times can you pass the ball to the wrong player in one game? 5 times. Really? Once is unforgivable. 5 times is atrocious. And all these people are saying, well, if he was to go to a different team, I tell you what he should do. He should go back to the Bundesliga. That's where he needs to go. Or some League 2 team. He's not Arsenal quality. So for this game, the fact that all he did, the only thing that he did that was good was provide the goal. Apart from that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he gets an assist.
2.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he gets an assist on that. I don't think he will, because if you actually look, it's not a tackle. It's he loses the ball. He sort of runs into the player. He doesn't stick it. A tackle is when you stick your foot out and depossess somebody, right?
Yeah.
He actually runs into the player. It's more like a clumsy effort, and the ball actually ricochets off Aurier into the path of Lacazette. So it's not actually like, an assist is when you see a play in space and then you plant the ball where the player can pick it up and then boom, right? That weren't no assist.
He can't even do that. He can't do anything. Yeah, maybe it was like, but he actually ran into the player.
There is no assist on goals like those. That's not assist.
Yeah.
Assist is when you create an opportunity and it creates a clear shot on goal. That goal came from out of nowhere.
I mean, that goal, you know what that goal reminds me of? That goal reminds me of when Jar Jar Binks was fighting on the planet Naboo against the robots, and he had no idea what he was doing. He was tripping over all the wires, he was falling over all the balls, and the wires on the balls were hitting these robots and knocking them out. And he didn't know what the hell he was doing. It was just so clumsy that it was still working anyway. To me, that's Xhaka right there, you know. But anyway, I'm going to move on to Tony. Tony's hard at work looking at stats right now, seeing if he can find one thing to give this guy credit for today.
Nothing.
You're so
give him
right.
nothing.
Yeah. I don't. This is already dragging on too long for me, so I'm giving my 3 and I'm done. He's finished.
Excellent. So,
You know,
guys,
I have to sort of be a little bit wary that I know I've given him a little bit of praise in the last 3, 4, 5 games, because he does seem to be the gel that has helped the team perform better, because it's quite clear that without him, we are absolutely atrocious.
Well, there's a limitation to that. What he does well is when you're playing out from the back, you have to find space to your cogman. You got to get the quicker you get the ball out to him, the better you can trap the 3 offensive players who are pressing your goalkeeper and your penalty area. So getting the ball out is crucial, and he's good at getting into that space and receiving the ball. The problem is what he does with the ball at that point. He goes sideways or he just goes backwards. He's supposed to turn, and he's supposed to look on the flanks and spread the ball out to the wingers. And that's not happening on a consistent level.
He
You
just
know what's interesting? Go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say, again, I kind of look at Arteta's game plan and go, what are you doing to ensure that this guy, when he gets the ball from the back 4 or back 3, he's got options? Because when you look up and you don't see Aubameyang moving into space, and I'll tell you another thing that happened, that I noticed early on. When Lacazette is receiving the ball, he's coming into his own half to get the ball. Yeah? And you're like, hang on a second. If you're playing that far back to get the ball, who's up top?
Yeah.
And actually, Aubameyang is again conspicuous from his absence.
Yeah.
He's nowhere to be seen. So I look at Xhaka and I think, okay, look up and play a pass. Who are you looking for? Well, unless Lacazette is coming at you, which is why he scored, why he won us the penalty and why he wins us free kicks, because quite often he has to run towards the player to get the ball at his feet. Yeah, you can't play a ball into a channel and expect Lacazette to get it. He can't do that. Yeah. Aubameyang just doesn't make himself available. Yeah. And then for Xhaka, he doesn't see anything else. So he then only has sideways and backwards to play.
Yeah,
so,
he's too safe.
As much as I don't like him and I don't want him in my team, I see where his issues are, and I honestly can't say it's all his fault.
Yeah, he's a safe option. And I understand that. He's a safe option. Unfortunately, at this level, safe options doesn't get the job done. And what it does is safe option. I'll go to you in a second, Bertram. Safe options, what they do is they slow down the speed of the game. Whereas when you have a philosophy like Pep and Arteta and Jurgen Klopp, it's all about speed. It's all about quick thinking, quick movement, moving the ball fast up the field. That's what it's all about. And if you take too long, one thing happens, and that is the defense are allowed to dig their heels in the back because you haven't caught them off the trap. When you're playing out from the back, the reason why you're doing that is because you're trying to move the ball forward quickly. When you're moving the ball out slowly, you're defeating the objective of playing the ball out the back. It's not worth doing because the midfield and defense are already embedded into their shape. You haven't caught them out. So it's completely contradictory, and that's why Arsenal are struggling at the moment. Bertram, while you have your say, Bertram, also your grades on Ceballos. Guys in the chat been waiting patiently. Can I have your numbers for Danny Ceballos?
Look, I think the point I'm going to make is there's a couple of things, which is as a midfielder, you have to be able to create space, right? Gundogan does this good. Rodrigo does this good. If you look at how these players play, when you get the ball, you're back. And like I did that today, when he created a yellow card and Harry Winks, you're able to turn on the player. So you go to the ball and you turn on them. You create mismatch when you're facing the other way. Now the player's running behind you. We don't have that in our midfield. Ceballos has some of that. But when you move to the ball, can you create space? You don't have skill like De Bruyne does, like Villa. All these players you see for Man City can create their own space. And that's why you're challenged, because do you come to them or do you go to the player that's moving off you off the ball? We don't have that in our midfield. Ceballos has some of it. I think he spins too much. I gave him a 6.5 today. I thought he tried really hard. He played hard. He's a bundle of energy. Wasn't as impactful as he was against Leicester in the first half. And probably because of that this is amazing. So I've been watching Arsenal for a long time. The one thing we're known for is keeping the ball. No matter how much you pressure us, pressure doesn't matter. We have the Cazorlas and the Rosickis and the Fabregas and the Nasris. They're just comfortable on the ball. The ball is my baby. I'm going to hug it. And you can't get it unless I give it to you. We cannot keep the ball in no part of our team. Aubameyang cannot keep the ball. Kaz cannot keep the ball. Neither can Xhaka.
That's not true, because we had 85% possession in the beginning of the second half. So,
here's the confusion. No, here's the confusion in that. That's not possession. When you play the ball in your own half, around your defense, around and around, that's not quality possession. Possession is when they can go. Like they did to us. They come in our third, and they keep the ball in our third of the field. That's possession. That's quality possession.
I think
back to ball to David Luiz. Yeah, Xhaka to David Luiz. David Luiz to Kaz. Kaz back to David Luiz. David Luiz to Bellerin. That's not possession. I can do that. Even today, I can do that.
Yeah, we're talking about the ability to keep the ball at your feet and be comfortable.
Under pressure. When you're under pressure, can you keep the ball? When you're in the final third, like City does, and played around your area and played the top of the 18, that is quality possession. We can't do that. We struggle. In fact, we struggle to keep the ball when we pass half line, which is amazing for Arsenal, which is something that we do as a team. Is innate to our being, and we can't do that anymore. So we got to get midfielders like Partey. Ceballos does a little bit, but I think he spins too much. We have to get quality midfielders who can keep the ball in the opponent's half, and we don't struggle. I mean, I watched Tottenham today playing the ball in our 18 for quite a bit of time. We couldn't touch the ball. We can't do that because Aubameyang can't keep the ball. Pepe loses the ball and turnovers the ball too much when he's dribbling. Laka can do it, but he needs the support.
Yeah. So 6.5. So in the chat room,
6.5. Yes.
Yep. So we've got 18 with 8.
Nobody gets an 8 today.
That's a really good score. I gave the goalkeeper a 9, bro.
I gave my 9. I gave my 9 also.
Cool K, an 8 it says at the heart of Arsenal's dominant period. Vincey gives him a 7. Cricket Ball gives him a 5. CJ is given Ceballos a 5 as well. La African Guna.
Yeah, in regards to just the previous point about Xhaka, the only thing that he brings to our midfield that actually improved us over the last 4 games is physicality, because he's the biggest player in our midfield. I mean, compare him to Willock or Torreira, that's really all that he brings. But again, liability, because he doesn't have the mobility to turn and way too slow. And considering that him and David Luiz are our 2 main players that control the tempo of our game, apart from Ceballos, way too slow. And as you said, Apollo, I mean, when you're playing 3 at the back, you're supposed to be transitioning super fast, and we haven't been doing that for maybe 2 or 3 seasons. In regards to what Bertram was saying, you need to use the correct terminology. Possession is just keeping the ball. So we have possession, we just don't have good quality possession, as you said. That's where I was a little bit confused. And we've known that for a very long time. You're mentioning players like David Silva, players like Raheem Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne. These are all players that can take on players in the midfield. We don't have any players like that. Yes, Ceballos can do that once in a while, but today for me, he was out of the game. I mean, he didn't have much of an impact. I know that he tried and stuff, but for me, he disappeared. Not as much as Aubameyang, but for me, yeah, I have to give him a 5. Average performance. Not his fault, but yeah, he didn't have the impact that I would have liked him to. but he tried. So 5 for me.
Okay, so Randall is giving him a 6. Yes, 18. Ebony was giving us some MTV cribs there, going in to pick up some festival and some dumpling in their kitchen. I went for Ceballos. I thought he was very good today. I gave him a 7. I thought he was dominant in that first period. He didn't play the ball sideways and backwards, which is what I love about him. And he's one of the very few players that actually drives at the midfield and drives at the defense, unlike his partner. And he made 6 critical interceptions to stop Spurs counterattacks as well. Defensively, he ran back to help out his team. He's been doing that for the last few. Look, there's a reason why this guy is on the form of his life right now. There's a reason why we're looking to keep this guy in the team. And that's because he's putting it on the line game after game. We're starting to see a level of consistency. Where we have been hard on this player is because one game he plays well, and then we're him there. Next game, we're him there. I'm gone. So the reason why we're giving him props now is because even in a game like today where he wasn't the star and he wasn't the man of the match, he still made himself accountable. So I'm giving him a 7. Ebony, you got the conch.
For Ceballos, I give him. I'm going to give him a 6. He was our best midfielder today. You know, the only one out of the midfield for me that actually drove at their defense, made some passes. You know. I mean, he couldn't do it on his own, and for me, he got absolutely no support at all. So, so for his effort, I give him a 6.
Excellent, Tony.
Exactly the same as Ebony.
Yeah, for the
exact same reasons.
Same reasons, I hear you. So, guys, let's move on to Pepe. So we've only got Pepe, Aubameyang, and Lacazette. Just 3 more to go, guys. Bertram, let's hear your thoughts on Pepe. And guys in the chat, let's hear your numbers on Pepe. Might be a controversial one, this one. I can smell danger. You know me and this microphone, yeah? You know me and this microphone. When I mentioned
why don't you go first? Why don't you go first?
Okay, I'll go first. I gave Pepe a 4 today. I gave him a 4, yeah, because he wasn't pressing. I always look every time we do team sheets, and I talk to you guys about his defensive effort, and I talk about Reece Nelson. You still don't get it. He's not doing enough backtracking especially in a diamond 3-4-3. You have to get back and defend because your right wing back is overlapping. They're far up the field, so you have to get back. If you look at what Kieran Tierney is doing on the other side, yeah. If you look at what Aubameyang's done over time, maybe not today, but over time, you have to get back and make yourself accountable in defense. And Pepe, I didn't see that happen today. The reasons Arteta was saying he was struggling at first was because of him being isolated in games. We saw that today. It was a problem that him and Arteta have been working on for a while now. And this is the reason why Arteta has mentioned it to you guys. So if you're not listening to Arteta and you're not listening to the problem, today was an example of that. Go and watch the highlights. At times, he's just not involved in the game as much as he should do. Too many times, he's finding himself isolated. He actually got a bit of support from Bellerin today, which I thought was nice, but he didn't do much with it. He had a few shots straight at the goalkeeper. I expect him to get one of those bendy shots around. He did try one, but it was quite wide. Look, my biggest issue with him is this. There was 2 instances where the Spurs were playing a high line and they were on the halfway line. If you're someone like Walcott, you expect to see the defender and push the ball down the wing, push it down the byline and outrun him. I was screaming at the television. I put it in the chat room on the matchday commentary. Why is this guy not knocking it 20 yards and beating him one-on-one? He's easily quicker than the right back, but no, it's just not happening. There's no commitment from Pepe to run at defenders and take them on down the channel. And to me, that needs to be addressed. Arteta's got to fix that because otherwise, if he doesn't fix that, then Pepe, for me, is just a one-trick pony. And I hate saying that because I love him as a player, especially when he cuts inside. He's got so much he can do with the ball. But for me right now, it seems like he's playing with the handbrake on. Maybe that's because, and this is one thing that's important, he hasn't really played a lot of football. He's been away. He hasn't trained that much. I felt he should have started on the bench today. I don't think he should have started the game. I think you don't spoil a winning formula. And what I mean by that is Saka probably should have started on that right and then introduced Pepe late in the game. I don't think Pepe should have started today. You can't ignore the fact that this guy has got 16 goals and assists. That's an amazing return for a player. He's mega talented, but he's not the finished article. And today I thought he felt short of what we expected. I gave him a 4. Let's see what you guys are giving in the chat before I go to Bertram. CJ's given him a 3. Vincey has given him a 3. Cricket Ball's given him a 3. Well, he just didn't turn up today, and that's all it was really. Oh, nice one, Cutie. Just found my channel. Nice one, Cute. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the content. Give the channel a like, subscribe to the channel, and also, most importantly, Cute, get involved. I want to hear what you think about the game. I want to hear your grades on the players, because that's important to us here. Fan feedback is what drives this channel. So yeah, thanks. Welcome as well. It wasn't Let African Gooner, it's Bertram that's after me. Bertram, you got the conch.
So I gave Pepe a 5. I don't agree with, so it's opinions, as you said, and as a contrarian, I'm going to say that I don't agree with your view about the defensive element, because when you play 3 at the back, it allows your front 3 to not defend as much, because your wing back is supposed to play that role. So if you're playing 3 at the back and 2 wing backs, that means you have 5 defenders in essence, even though the wing backs will do more work. So I'm not sure why those wingers would have to do as much work as you do in a 4. Having said that, look, I think Pepe played well in spurts, but he loses the ball too much when it's just a single isolation. The reason why he didn't go at the defense sometimes because Laka is coming so deep. When he gets the ball, even when he's isolated, it's 4 players alone and no one to pass the ball to. So he slows down to bring his. No. That's my opinion. It's my opinion. He slows down.
I want to explain what I said so that you can answer it in a better fashion. Yeah. I'm talking about when Spurs was on the halfway line, the defenders were standing on the halfway line, and Pepe received the ball. You turn, you look, you see 50 yards of green with no defense. Hit the ball down the channel and outrun your marker. That's what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
I don't think Pepe is as fast as you think. I think he's quick, but not as fast as you think he is. His feet move fast, but I'm not sure he doesn't have the Bellerin Walker type speed. He just doesn't. He's very tricky, and his feet move fast, so he looks faster than he really is. Look, I think he played, given that he's out for the last 2 games, I think he played okay. I think he wasn't treated red by the ref. One time he got slammed going across the top of the 18, and he got no call, which made no sense to me. Because Winks pulled back a player twice and only got 1 yellow, so that made the referee was very inconsistent today. I don't want to call it a ref game, but he was very inconsistent about how he called the game. I don't think Pepe get the benefit of the doubt because people think he probably dives too much as he gets touched.
Wasn't that the ref that sent off Eddie Nketiah? It was the same referee.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was the same referee. It was the same referee. When the game started and I saw his face, I was like, "You've got to be kidding me." I mentioned that Harry Kane walked up to him and sort of, ref, sort me out.
So Lee Dixon was commenting. Lee Dixon was commenting and said, "I guess that's not a foul." He said, "This is being rhetorical." Because I mean, I'm sitting there and listening and saying, "This is ridiculous. It's a free kick on top of the 18. It's a dangerous position." And you say, "Play on." That makes no sense to me. And the fact you didn't give Harry Winks a yellow card the first time he held a player going by him makes no sense to me. So that's inconsistency. But having said that, look, my disappointment in the game was Pepe is extremely skillful. Ben Davies has a yellow card. As a manager, the first thing you say, you know what, we go out there, find Pepe, isolate them Ben Davies. He can't be aggressive tackling him because he has a yellow. And Pepe can beat you in his sleep. Why wouldn't you be the part of your strategy to then put him on defensive versus trying to give Tierney in the game who's been marked up by Sissoko on the other side of the field? Makes no sense to me logically. You have to play isolation game. You talk about NBA quite a lot. That's what you do. A poor defender on you or somebody who's in foul trouble, you go at them to get them out of the game. But having said that, I gave him a 5. I thought he tried actually. But he can't be like Sanchez is. Sanchez loses the ball a lot. He doesn't lose the ball as much, but has such a skillful player. In one-on-one, you can't be turning the ball over. When you just have one player marking you, it got to be 2 and 3 mark you to turn the ball over, not just one isolated player. So I gave him a 5.
I agree. So we've got some more scores coming in, scores on the doors. We've got to 18 with 4. We've got QT with, that's a cute smile, I call her QT. QT with 5. And Randall had a score. Where's Randall's score? Randall, here we go. Randall is giving him a 5 as well. And again, I think CJ is making the point that Bertrand's been talking about every single week since we came back from the lockdown. Move Pepe in the inside. Don't leave him on the wing there, where actually it's possible that's what's causing his isolation issues, where 10, 20 minutes goes in a game and he's just not involved at all. This is a problem, and I trust Arteta to deal with this, but I have to mention it again because I know the two have been talking about it. Arteta's mentioned it in 2 conferences, and because he's mentioned it, I'm looking for this problem, and I found it today. I can see why it exists. And look, you can only solve that if you get him more involved. Bring him into the middle of the park, as Bertram and Tony both said, and give this guy more to do, because I just think you're wasting him on there. I really do. Let African Guna.
Yeah, after hearing what you said, Apollo, I might have to make you garbage number 4. I think this is one of Pepe's best games, to be fair. I think that he had a lot of contribution. I'd give him a 6.5. I think that he was he made Davies sit down on his ass. He was dribbling players left and right. He was our danger man, and Arteta took him off. And I was really pissed off when that happened. How can you take him off when you need to score in a game like this? I think that was an atrocious decision by the manager, in my opinion. I think if you started Saka there, I don't think he would have had the same output. And
hold on, I can answer that. Did you hear when I said that he hadn't played in the last 3 games and he hadn't trained either? He was at home being a new daddy, so that's why he took.
That's 1 week. He hasn't trained for like 1.5 weeks, and all of a sudden you're expecting him not to be at the level that he is. Come on, these guys have been training for the last month, and they've been playing 2 games every week, and now because he didn't play 1 week, he can't be in the starting lineup. Come on,
I think so. I
don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think regardless, he should be fit enough to play, and I don't think that there was a level of dropping. If you compare his first 10 games that he played to this game, he was much more in the game than before. Previously, he was nowhere to be seen. I think that he took initiative. As Bertram says, he loses the ball quite a bit too much, but I think that'll come over time. And something that I liked what I saw today was that he was actually playing more in the middle. He was playing a 10, to be honest. Bellerin was hugging that touchline, and Pepe was coming inside and playing the number 10 role. So he was trying to get involved in that midfield much more than previously, and we haven't seen that before, so that was good. But I think, again, I'm really upset that Arteta took him off. I think he was one of our best players, and he was probably one of the only ones who could score. I think he was more dangerous than Aubameyang. If anything, take off Aubameyang and keep Pepe on in this game. That's my opinion. So 6.5.
Yeah, I'll say one thing, though. That's part of the problem, actually, because Abba doesn't get pulled from games because of goal scoring ability. That hurts us because he doesn't do anything else in the game a lot of times. Yeah. So if you're not taking him off, you got to take somebody off. So yeah.
He did get pulled twice. Remember, he gave the armband to Xhaka and everybody was up in arms.
No, that's because he was tired and we had the game wrapped up, right?
Ebony.
I thought he was poor today, really. Gonna give him a 3. You know, he just wasn't firing on all cylinders at all. I just thought he was near. Somebody said that he was near enough non-existent, and he was non-existent. He
That's
can
crazy.
be skillful.
On target, like he was our most involved attacking player. Apart from Lacazette scoring that one wonder goal in our attacking play, he was everything. Everything was going through him. Really.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think Lacazette was our most influential player today.
I just thought Pepe was just poor. You know, I mean, I would actually move him. I'd also move him towards the middle as well, because I think that's where he's more effective. So 3.
Tony?
5.
Close to my rating.
That's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. Guys, let's talk about the captain, Aubameyang. We've only got Lacazette and Aubameyang to go now. So what would you grade the captain, Aubameyang? Bertram, do you want to go first on this one? And guys in the chat, let me hear your numbers.
What people haven't talked about was Abba missed a sitter in the early first part of the game. Bellerin gave him on a dime. Apollo, you could score that easily, by the way. It's a tap in, and he missed it. The one he hit the bar with, you got to put that away. That's why you're in the lead forward. So he had 2 clicker chances. He wasn't in the game. He didn't contribute a lot. He took a good shot, but it was not with a lot of velocity on it that Luis saved. So I was struggling with this. Is it a 2 or a 3? I gave him a 2.5. I just thought he was non-existent. I think you're the captain of the team in a derby game. When the last time you played him, wasn't the last time he missed a penalty or two games before he missed a penalty? You have to redeem yourself. You cannot afford not to be prominent in the game. I just don't understand Abba. And you want to get paid 250, 300. You want Ozil type money. That doesn't work, actually. If you're going to play games every 4 games, if you don't score, you're non-existent, then how can we trust you and how can you want us to reward you just putting the ball in the net? And I know people keep saying he scores. But some coaches don't want to play with just scores. Because you got to contribute like the 11 players on the field. It can't just be about goals. It's the completeness of the game. You talk a lot about Pepe and his defense or lack thereof. Abba doesn't play defense. He plays when he wants to.
Yeah,
he's not in the game.
Which is what me and Tony are always talking about. And he has been really good of late. Today, no defense from him whatsoever. I might as well give you my score now anyway. I gave him a 3 today. And he had 2 great shots, as we know. One off the bar, but he's got to put that away. He didn't really impact the game as you like. And look, I'm going to take you guys back to the same argument. And, you guys have got to love me because I'm consistent, yeah? I say the same things over and over again until you guys get the message. When you play in big games, when you play big teams, you want your big players to turn up. Where has this guy been against, where was he today? Where was he against Man City? Where is he going to be when we play Liverpool next week? Where is he going to be when we play Man City in the FA Cup? This is a reoccurring issue with Aubameyang that our best players are just not turning up in games where we need them to. Who was the better player today on the field, Harry Kane or Aubameyang? It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. So look, I gave him a 3 today. African Guna.
Yeah, I think, Apollo, you're right. Definitely, he's not showing up in most of the big games. And I struggle to blame him because I don't think he enjoys playing on that left wing. I really do believe if he played down the middle today, he would have much more of an impact. I mean, Saka, him, Pepe, that I need to see that. And I really think that would improve him. I think naturally, it's just not his style of game. And he's at an age as well. He doesn't want to run back and track back and waste all his energy doing the defensive work as much as we want him to. That's not his style of play. He's never been that player. So all of a sudden we're expecting him to do that. I mean, as a player, he's just not going to do that. And as Bertram alluded to, and by the way, Apollo, on the thread, I said this. In the 30th minute, I said, where is Aubameyang? Because from that point, I already saw that he wasn't in the game. And I just knew that, he wasn't going to be in the game. And Bellerin obviously put it on Bellerin has had 2 amazing crosses in the last 2 games, and both of them haven't been finished. The first one was by Lacazette, and now this one by Aubameyang. And we were getting upset and putting it on Lacazette for missing those. We have to do the same, and it has to be the same. It applies to Aubameyang as well. That first one was easy on a platter, and then the second one, as I told you, Apollo, on the thread. I know it's his weaker foot and his left foot, but I don't understand why he went for power there. It was all about the placement. There was no way Lloris was going to get that, and that was just a missed opportunity. And as I told you, I was watching the game with my dad, and I told him, we're going to regret that. Watch, we're going to regret that we missed that. Because it always happens to Arsenal that we miss easy chances like this, and then, out of nothing, they didn't have anything. Yeah. Spurs had nothing, and just one chance, set piece, goal, game over. And that's how it is with Arsenal. So for me, 3. Missing, and as Bertram said, he's asking for 200, 300K. We can't be giving a guy like this 300K. Sanchez deserved 300K over even though Aubameyang scored all these goals, Sanchez was a better overall player than Oba was, and he really deserved that 300K. I don't think Oba deserves that. And if we have to sell him, we've had Van Persie leave, Adebayor, Nasri, the list goes on and on and on. So he can leave, and we can reinvest that money.
Yeah, one time Sanchez got 31 goals and 13 assists. He could do both. He could create. That's what was.
And he would do the defensive work. Yes.
So Paulo, here's where a manager comes into play. So if you play Tierney and Saka on the same wing, they're both very defensive minded, whereas offensive minded. They can protect some of Aubameyang's weakness, and we know what they are. He doesn't like to run back sometimes in games. So when you play 3 at the back, it takes away from that. The last time you played, if you play Tierney and four at the back and Saka and left, they can switch. They can cover each other, like he used to do with Xhaka before, and move Xhaka over to cover when the left back goes forward. We don't have that. So then Aubameyang is exposed because we know what his weaknesses are. He's not a good open field player. He's a goal scorer.
Yeah, I agree. And I think next season, Arteta's going to go back to his native 4-2-3-1. I think he's going to go back to the native formation because that's the one he believes works. I think he's only doing this now to facilitate the talent he's got in the team. He's really trying to make the best out of a bad situation, and we all know that of worth. Let me give the grades for the guys who put them up. They've been patient waiting for their numbers to go up. For Aubameyang, Vincey's gone for a 2. CJ's gone for a 3. 18's gone for a 3. Cricket Ball's gone for a 2. Yet another big game where he's missing in action. Yeah, I'm afraid so. Randall has gone for a 3. Uber was like he didn't want to be there today. Oh, it's hard. You know, that statement right there is probably the best statement of the day, because this is a North London derby. Spurs had to turn up today without their fan base. And their fan base is the only thing they've got to use against us when we're playing away from home. It weren't there today, and Spurs still found a way to get it done. I didn't like the intensity and the urgency from Arsenal today. This is a North London derby. I mean, what is going on here? Where was the fight?
It's not only this game. It's not only this game. It's every game we don't have intensity. That's why we are where we are in the table. We're too slow and we don't have the quality. It's not just a North London derby. I hear you. I mean, at least this one game, do it for the fans, right? But it's every game we don't have this intensity.
You know, we saw the intensity against Wolves. That first half against Leicester, we played them off the park. A team that was in 3rd position in the league, we played them off the park. Where was that today? Cool K has gone with a 2. Oh, no other grades. Right, Ebony.
I'm going to give him a 2 myself. Missing in action. I don't know what it is with him. Maybe it's because he's on the left and he should be in the middle. You know, maybe that's not his best position. I just thought that I did look at him today and I just thought, part of me thought that he didn't want to be there. Part of me thinks that he wants to be there, but there was just no all in there today. I thought it was piss poor. I mean, the sitter that he missed in the beginning, usually he puts that away, but I don't know. I mean, I'd like to get into his head to understand where he's coming from. But today's game, poor 2.
Yeah,
I love the man, but 2.
Yeah, Tony, this is a North London derby, which gives us 3 words: all or nothing. Put everything you've got on that field. And when you walk off with blood, sweat, and abandon. Don't leave anything on the field. Today, we left a lot on the field.
Well, Aubameyang. I mean, the unfortunate thing is I have a 7-year-old son who I'm trying to nurture to remain an Arsenal fan. He's an Arsenal fan. His favourite players are Lacazette and Aubameyang because I've taught him that there are 2 guys who are out there to score the goals, and he wants to be a striker, and those are his 2 guys. Today, we sat down and we watched the game together, and I can't help but say, this guy is ruining my my verbiage. Whatever I tell my son about Aubameyang and Lacazette, it falls on deaf ears now because they're not performing. And to be honest, Lacazette today did himself a favour for me. He did me a favour by scoring that worldie because my son was like, "Oh, Lacazette has scored finally! Yay!"
Yeah.
But Aubameyang literally is just writing himself out of Arsenal folklore, because how can a guy be such a phenomenal scorer, be so ineffective in games, as you said, important games? So his mark for me is 2. And the other thing I'm just going to mention very quickly while I'm on this, while it's fresh in my head, is I don't want to see Arsenal training videos with us passing the ball and people shuttle running in between trying to break down channels and stuff. because they're doing all that on camera, like at the training ground, and we come to the game and we see none of it. So I'm like, why are you showing me this? Why am I seeing constantly players darting in between players, trying to break play, working on systems and triangles and that? And I'm like, but you're doing this in training, but in the game, I'm not seeing none of that. Have we seen any Wenger ball? Because we all know what the archetypal Wenger ball situation is. Goalkeeper, left back, midfielder, never midfielder, striker, winger, goal. The Jack Wilshere against Norwich. That. Where have we seen that? Where have we seen that?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Wenger at his best, though, man. Guys, before I go to the last one, Lacazette, I just want to do a quick flash round around the panel. And the guys in the chat as well. Can you guys be a part of this as well? How many goals? We're coming back here with the same panel next week, Sunday at 8 o'clock. We're here every Sunday at 8 o'clock. I'm not going to include the midweek show that we do at 9 on Wednesday because we've got Liverpool on the 15th and we've got Man City in the FA Cup semi-final on the 18th. So we're going to be back here on the 19th. And I want you guys to all tell me how many goals do you think how many goals do you think Aubameyang is going to score for Arsenal in his next 2 games against Liverpool and Man City? Bertram.
None. No, because guys, you understand this. When you play against elite teams, I keep saying this. When you play against elite teams, you gotta have elite quality to play against elite teams, right? So if you can't keep the ball and they can keep the ball, it's kind of hard to score. And Aubameyang gets frustrated when he's not in the game. He doesn't help with ball retention. And before I said possession and African Guna says, well, we have 75 possession. I'm talking about effective possession. And not only effective possession when you're in the opponent's half and you can break them down. We don't break teams down. We don't go between the lines, split defensive pass, one-on-one with keeper. We really do that in games. And so Aubameyang goes from the left and we play a ball over the top. We don't walk the ball into their half, play in their 18 and score. We just don't do that. We don't have the capability to do that.
Yeah, we don't
have the personnel to do that.
Yeah.
So Aubameyang will not score against Liverpool or against Man City. Laka will more score. Aubameyang won't score.
The African Guna.
Garbage. He's gonna score. He's gonna score at a minimum 1 goal. He's the one who scores all the goals. I know he had a bad game.
But he doesn't score them against big teams. That's what.
No. Listen here.
Tony, please look at that stat, Tony.
Wait.
Tony, want to hear the stats. What is that?
The last game against Tottenham, did I not remember he scored that worldy 1-touch Aaron Ramsey straight to Aubameyang in the corner?
By the way, guys. Apollo, Tottenham is not a big team.
Yeah, I was just about to say that to you. Yeah, I'm talking about Man City, Liverpool.
Okay. He scored against United. That goal that he chipped De Gea. Like, where's your memory gone?
When they weren't good. They're good now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where did they finish last year? An excuse when he doesn't score, then we say, "Oh, he doesn't score." Come on. Am I right?
No. So you're saying 1 goal because look. We're going to revisit this next Sunday. So if you're right, I will give you props. If you're wrong, then I'm going to throw the front. If you're wrong, 1 goal minimum. Okay, so if you're right, you're going to get props. If you're wrong, then I'll throw the bucket at you. Yeah, it's just the
Pepe will score. Aubameyang won't score. Pepe will score.
Ebony, before you go, let's see what the guys are saying. 18 saying he won't score jack. CJ's saying he scored 1 goal. Cool K saying he scored nothing. Vincey's giving him a goal. He'll score a penalty. Remember when we lost 3-0 against Man City last season, he had a penalty and he missed it. Cricket Ball said he's going to score 0. And Vincey's saying probably a penalty. Ebony, how many goals is he going to get in the next 2 games against Liverpool and Man City?
Okay, look, I want to be nice and say 1, but I can't see him scoring jack, to be honest. I don't know why he goes missing in big games.
because he's just not
Can somebody
talented
explain
enough.
it? Because I really can't.
Because unlike Harry Kane,
Yeah, but the thing is, though, he is talented enough.
well, he isn't, because he doesn't have the assist and the chances created. He doesn't have the ball talent and the ball skills to play well off the ball and to play well in possession. Bertram's talked about this.
So think about this, guys.
All right,
Think about this.
He's not the most skillful player.
Yeah, we're not a good team.
He's not the
with
most
ball at our
skillful
feet.
player, no. And the thing about it, he's not the most skillful player. He doesn't track back. But he'll only score, for me, he'll only score if he's actually in the middle. Okay, he's not good on the left-hand side. And I don't know why he keeps playing on the left. He's rubbish there.
Yeah, and Vincey,
but if he does score, it'll probably be 1, otherwise 0.
Yeah, Vincey, he won't score a penalty because the best penalty taker in Europe is named Nicolas Pepe. Tony, how much goals is he going to score?
Law of average, I'll go with 1.
Man, giving the man a goal there. So look, if is 1 goal going to be good enough with our defense? That's the question. Right, guys, let's.
Well, you know what? It's an interesting point you say. Is 1 goal good enough? You know, we all know where the problem really lies. The guy still scored 20 goals this season. That's not the problem. The problem is the midfielder scored 3 goals.
Yes, of course, yes.
The midfield has scored 3 goals. That's just a joke.
Tony, we're not blaming him, but think about it. We played Liverpool and Man City twice already this year, right? He didn't even sniff a goal. Forget about scoring a goal. He hasn't even sniffed a goal.
Yeah, and he's your star player. He's your star player.
He sniffed a goal.
Yeah.
He's not going to score against those teams.
Just one question. Do you
player.
think if we had like Sanchez or we had Van Persie that they would even have these chances? I mean,
oh,
it's not
hell
only
yeah.
Of course. He has nothing. He has no support, man. The team is crap.
Nothing.
How can you expect him to
no
be scoring?
midfield.
Get no
There's
chances.
no creation.
How many chances?
Sanchez had magic sometimes. Sanchez had magic sometimes.
So did Van
Magic.
Persie. So did Henry.
So did Van Persie. Yes.
The list goes on. Yeah, we're talking about, if we're going to mention Aubameyang, which people are in the same range as Henry, Van Persie, Sanchez, then we have to understand that he lacks the ability of the ball skills of those 3 players. Yeah.
Blasphemy. That's blasphemy, my friend. You
guys,
can't mention Aubameyang in the same breath as Henry. It's blasphemous. Sorry,
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, exactly. Guys, Lacazette, the last one before we shut down today. Your votes for Lacazette, guys, in the chat room. You got the conch, Bertram.
He got 5. He got about 10 for that goal, so I have to balance it out with the rest of his play. That goal was off the chart.
That was a Lacazette of old.
That goal was off the chart. And look, his hold-up play is very good. He's a better footballer than Aubameyang. Just not a good goal scorer. But his hold-up play, his turning on the ball, the yellow card he gave Winks, he has a good hold-up play. He reminds me of Giroud in some respect, except they both can't run. That's their problem. They have no speed in their game. They struggle to go by defenders, but they have the ability to control the ball, to play with their back to goal, to be able to find players and bring them into play. So I gave him a 7. I thought he had a good day at the office. In fact, the best day of the offensive players, frankly. And against that goal is what you see on Match of the Day and all these highlights because it's worldly.
And the thing is, we were talking about this. There was 2 things that he did previously before, which we've been looking at. He scored away from home for the first time in 18 months, and he's got another goal today away from home. Good, right? He gets that goal where the ball comes in, and he turns on the 6-yard line, his defender, and slams it in. That's Lacazette of old. And this goal today was exactly the same thing. This is what Lacazette used to do. Not just when he was in France, but when he came to Arsenal, he was lethal when you put the ball at his foot. And where has this guy been? I loved him today. I gave him an 8 today. I really liked what he'd done. His hold-up play was just sensational. The ball control, when he had the ball at his feet to bring others into play, was brilliant. And he created chances for the midfielders outside of that to feed them into the... I thought he did really well. I gave Lacazette an 8 today, guys. Let African Guna.
Yeah, just before I give Lacazette his rating, I just wanted to point out that Van Persie had Fabregas, Nasri, Alex Song to make passes to him in the midfield. Aubameyang has Xhaka. Enough said. All right. So, like I said,
Man just came in and dropped the mic, and now he's going to talk
and he has to buy us also. You did 3 midfielders. I'm sorry.
Only had 5 good games out of the whole season. So, I mean, you have to be realistic and fair. Sometimes we're very narrow-minded. I really do think that if we had a better midfield, Aubameyang would be a much better player. But anyways, I mean, that's up for debate. Yeah, CJ Jackson said it as well. Yeah, so like I said, I mean, I don't want to get carried away. It was a phenomenal goal, but I think that there isn't any consistency there for me. I mean, he can score that goal today and then the next game just go back to regular himself. But obviously, judging on his performance today, I think 8 is quite much. I'm giving him a 7. I think, yeah, his hold-up play is good. As Bertram said, him and Giroud, both good hold-up players. But I think Lacazette is much faster than Giroud. Giroud has the headers over Lacazette, as we've seen. But yeah, I mean, I just wish Lacazette can, come back into the heart of our
kick.
Sorry?
And a scorpion kick.
Oh, and a scorpion kick by Giroud. But yeah, no, I think Lacazette had an overall good game. One thing I want to mention, I don't think he's going to be able to survive the next 2 games, full 90 minutes as a striker with no Nketiah. So I'm praying somehow that Arteta is forced into taking him off and putting Aubameyang and then putting Saka on the left. That's the only way I can see him doing what I want. And if that's the case, I mean, I just need to see that happen. So
I'd like to see them try Pepe there as well, and then put Saka on the right. Otherwise, there's no place for Saka.
I wouldn't mind that either.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
He got a yellow today, by the way, guys, and he's really trending really well. He got a yellow, took a yellow for the team.
Yeah.
They fouled Pepe and he went and they gave him some. That's what I want to see.
So 18's gone for an 8 for Lacazette. Vinci's a 7. Cricket Ball 6.5. Have you changed your mind? Oh, still a 7. All right, Vinci. QT is getting an 8. Yeah, proper respect. 8 for Cool K. Great strike for the goal. Yeah, it was the Lacazette of old. I totally agree. Man said Arteta gets a 2. CJ's gone for a 6. Bergkamp, it's good to see you back. I can't see a grade for you for Lacazette there, bro. But he said sell Lacazette ASAP, get some of that 50. You know what? That's not a bad shout. The fact that scoring goals kind of isn't the problem right now. It's the midfield. Give me a midfielder who can control a game, good in possession, and run into the box late like Ramsey and score goals. I'll take that all day long, yeah? Because if I can get 10 goals from a Ramsey, a Fabregas, a Cazorla, yeah, then that kind of beefs up the problem that we have all around. Support the team and support the front four. Ebony. Lacazette, Ebony.
Yeah, great goal.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I'll give him a 7. Great goal,
7.
though.
Okay,
but 7. I mean, it wasn't. Yes, the goal was Lacazette of old, blah blah, but that's it. 7.
Okay, so Randall's gone for a 7 as well. Tony, you're last on the on the panel.
So Lacazette, as I just alluded to, my one of my son's 2 favorite players, and he's just a big letdown. He's just a big letdown. So he scores a worldie, which is a 10. But let's be honest here. The guy cannot play 70 minutes of football. We know
No, he can't.
We know why Arteta prefers to play Nketiah, because he can't run. He doesn't tackle. And as much as you say all these nice glowing comments about, oh, he got a yellow card and da-da-da, he pissed me off at halftime because he was having a chat with Aurier going into the tunnel. And I'm like, do you think during Tony Adams' reign, that you could have been having pleasantries with a Spurs player at halftime and you're 1-0? Because I would have bossy Ras Clat.
Consider the environment. Consider the environment.
It's not even a London derby, though, is it?
I'm sorry, but Tony, times have changed. We have moved on. You know, it's like people saying LeBron James and those guys are all friends.
No,
Times have changed. Times have changed. Sorry, times have changed. Times have changed.
Listen,
times have changed.
No.
Kawhi Leonard, brother. I'm sticking with Kawhi Leonard. I ain't saying
No.
jack to you.
No.
I'm sorry.
Times have changed.
When it comes down to this game, listen, I saw an interview
No.
by, I don't know if anybody saw the interview with Xhaka before the game. 2-minute interview, and he said, without you, we're going to try our best. Listen, somebody in that dressing room has to turn around and say, boys, we've had a shit season, but today we can make it better. Yeah? Xhaka, you are the worst player in the world to Arsenal fans. But today, if you score, you will become a legend. Yeah?
Okay, that's before, but yes.
That's Coach Carter talk right there, man.
So listen, you go out there today, no pleasantries, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm sorry, Mr. Aurier. I might know you from my days back in France, and you might be an Arsenal fan, because don't forget that. Aurier is an Arsenal fan. Yeah? But today, you are the sworn enemy. Kawhi Leonard, laser vision. I'm getting the win at all means necessary. And that doesn't include any pleasantries at halftime. And I'm sorry, if you can't run for 70 minutes or more, and we're now in three games away from the end of the season, and you still can't run for 70 minutes. I'm 52 years old, and I have to run for 90 minutes. And I know I'm not in that level, but you know what? Them men are young compared to me. I'm still doing 10 milers. Yeah? That man best get on a fucking... sorry, my friend. He needs to get on something, because I'm sorry. You're a professional footballer and you can't run 90 minutes. And he don't run hard. You know, the thing with Lacazette, yeah, he doesn't run like Aubameyang. Yeah, he runs little shuffles. Aubameyang in the game will put you 8 to 10 sprints flat out. He runs at the goalkeeper real hard. And that's
then he takes another 5 minutes off. So maybe that balances out.
5 minutes off. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But guys, look, I know times are changing. But you can't tell a Redskins fan when the Cowboys come to town that times are changing. You can't tell a Giants fan that when the Jets come to town that times are changing. You can't tell a Dolphins fan when the New England Patriots come to town that times are changing. Today, what I saw...
Listen,
it's a disgrace.
It's been engraved out of our culture, so I don't understand why we're all shocked. It's been 4 or 5 years that Arsenal have had a soft center. So what do you expect? And when you compare American football, American sports, the nationalism and pride that Americans have for sport is much higher than in the UK. I'm sorry. So you should expect that in the US.
No. UK. No. The fan base in the UK. No. UK fans. No, guys. UK fans are much more passionate about their teams.
They are.
Trust me. There's no comparison.
There's no comparison.
There's no comparison. Because I'm a Knicks fan, but you know what? I can take a 6 months off. I can take a month off. Yeah. I'm not gonna struggle when different we support. Yeah, well, we've been sucking for 30 years.
Any American fan will tell you that the British fans and the European fans are much more passionate.
Yes, especially British fans for their team.
American fans are just as passionate, I think.
Yeah, and
American fans are just as passionate, I think.
And listen, as an Arsenal season ticket holder, and I can tell you this now: when we play in Europe in the Champions League and the Europa, we get embarrassed by some of those fans that come over. Sometimes they only bring about 3 or 4 fans over, and they are absolutely screaming themselves to death. Yeah, and the thing about
you're bourgeoisie fans, you're not the normal.
and the thing that frustrates me is games like today when we see when Man United, when Chelsea, when Man City, when Arsenal, when Spurs come to the Emirates, we are live. We are live and direct. But when Stoke come and Brighton and all them degger teams there, it's like the library. It's like, whoa, what happened? But that's just it. You know what I mean? But the fans know when it's a rivalry.
We need to be doing that all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Guys, I'm gonna have to go because
we're done. We're done. I just want to go around any closing arguments, guys, before we shut it down.
One thing from me: Arsenal had 630 successful passes today. 560 of them were backwards or sideways, meaning we only had maybe about 60 to 70 forward passes. Sideways FC.
It's great.
And you've got Xhaka to thank for that, man.
Oh, I know, we know.
All right, guys, where can we find you, Bertram?
Arsenal 101.
African Guna.
And like I said before, it's not the total bad. It's not a totally bad week. My cricket team did beat England today, so it's not totally bad.
Yay!
And Lewis Hamilton did win the Grand Prix today.
Yes.
So it's a good week. It's not a terrible week.
And are we not going to do predictions for Liverpool, Man City? Quick predictions.
No, we'll probably do that later on in the week. Yeah.
Why?
So La African Guna, where can we find you?
At La African Gunner on Twitter and La African Gunner on YouTube.
And Ebony, where can we find you?
101 Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Excellent. Tony, where can we find you?
And 101.
At Pugilist Boy on the gram, on the Twitter, on the Facebook.
Excellent.
And YouTube.
Big respect to you guys. We love you in the chat. You guys make this fun so much. This show so much fun to do. I appreciate all the input you guys have had, and hopefully we'll see you back on Wednesday for our show and next Sunday as well. Peace out, everybody. And listen, we lost today. Let's take it on the chin and let's move on. Peace out, man.
Bye, guys.
Bye.